looking at the compensation plan that we've been working on. So you'll see a couple different things there. So just know that, so we're looking at this page. It's Lamesa ISD recommended compensation adjustments for 26-27. Worked a lot with Dr. Avey and Dan on this to take, I'm going to give you a chance just to kind of look at that. There were a few revisions done today after I got back and revisited on that. But what we tried to do is take the market numbers from our comprehensive study that was done last spring, because it offered the market by class, by category, or a full study, so it had each pay grade or employee category, and then with the market values on it. So we used that and set the idea of a midpoint being the market value for that position or category, and then calculated numbers on our current employees. Dr. Avey can speak more to this, but while I was out, she and Dan went back through, because to make budget projections and assign everyone to a same midpoint, or 92% or 95% of midpoint, ignores their longevity with the district, ignores their expertise, and so on. So they went back through to identify those outliers and make those adjustments. To that, we had the employees that were well above market. We had employees that were substantially below market that would, if brought all the way up to market, we're looking at tens of thousands of dollars, a percent increase that would be dramatic for the employee and for the district as well. And so some conversation there as to how to bring people up, maybe not necessarily trying to get everybody to market value in 1 year. I think when we heard, and forgive me, I don't remember the guy's name, but Dan had the guy from TASB zoom in with us in our last meeting and talk about those things. And when you have certain areas that are a large gap, that you're looking at not trying to close the full gap, but you want to try to close some of it, because there's kind of an industry assumption that districts often will do a 2 or 3% raise year to year. And when that happens, if you're already behind the market, then you fall further behind if you're not at least doing those things. So where we could, we calculated what it would cost to bring everyone up to 92%, up to 95%, all the way up to market, which is on your form or handout there. That would be midpoint. I don't think we're recommending trying to get everybody up to midpoint, even if you financially could do it. Again, it goes back to the individual positions and their time in district, and those things would play a role in where they fall in the range. So as you look at that, you can see the different pay groups. And then to get to just the minimum or the bottom end of the range, you can see in the left-hand column, we labeled that cost to minimum. So where we have certain employees that fall below the bottom range of what TASB offered us. So just to get them to what TASB identified as the bottom of the market range, you see that cost there by those categories. And again, we talked about this before. I know Dan's talked about it at length, but the employees who have the furthest to go and are below market value are your auxiliary employees. And so you see that reflective, even though their salaries are sometimes lower individually, you can see that increase, that we have several people there that would need bumps in order to be just within range. Look to the next column at cost to 92%. So identifying again if the midpoint is average market rate for that position or category, then what would it cost us to get within 92% of the market? Some of our employees are at market or over, some are well below. So just to get everyone to 90% of the market, then you can see those numbers again by category.
And that next column is the cost for specific adjustments, reflecting out. There were some that were above and some that were below, and so we looked case by case. There were a handful of positions that were not in the right pay category, so some of those needed to move into the right pay category. And then some of them just needed to, this is an adjustment for everybody to get to that point plus or a 2%, whichever was the minimum on that. Because there are a handful of employees that we have, or quite a few number of employees that have been with the district for a long time, so that they're already above market. So it doesn't eliminate any particular employee or class of employee from receiving at least a 2% increase. And so that's where you'll see that cost for specific adjustment. We went literally through every single employee in the district and broke that out by category and made sure people were put in the appropriate pay grades. So it took an enormous amount of time, but that's where you'll see it's based off that 92% with specific adjustments included in there for people who are not in the right pay categories. Or others, I should add, or others that needed to be at midpoint due to high demand.
So these aren't like our whole staff.
That's our whole staff.
That is our whole staff. Okay, I just didn't know if these were just the ones
Well,
that are been.
let me reflect. Correct. It's not our whole staff because it doesn't include our federally funded, which you'll see that down below. So it is reflected there down below. So you'd have to add those two together. But then it also does not include our food service because that's a completely different fund.
Yeah, so good question. So these numbers, because you guys adopt the general fund budget, we're putting numbers in front of you how that budget's going to be impacted by these numbers. And then Dr. Avey has spent some time going through below there and giving you some information as to the impact in those other areas. So using this exact same rules, but your dollar amounts that you see in the table are just for the general fund. Okay, and then certainly those same 92, same percents would apply, but those.
The teachers that got that increase last year, was that, I can't remember, was that just 1 year or was it multiple years?
So it's continuing, yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's
yes,
what
ma'am.
I was thinking about. I just couldn't remember if it was a set
Yeah.
We're talking
amount.
about 8,000,
Mhm.
4,000.
That's what I was referring
Yeah,
to.
that's
Step 3 was a
supposedly
$4,000.
for
Step 3 and
funded.
4 was
Okay,
$4,000
that was,
increase.
yeah, I was just, I can remember if it was a
It's
certain
it's in House Bill 2. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's in law.
Okay, okay.
Until it isn't.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
but one of the things I want to talk about, you see both columns highlighted there. Just remember, this is off the 24-25, so we've already gone through 25-26, and we need to get to 26-27. We're going to go through the comprehensive analysis again in 26-27, starting off in the fall. So that way you'll know exactly where every person should be and where we lie as far as once we get to that point. But this would be an adjustment, I think, for those positions. And it includes the teachers and instructional facilitators as well to get a 2% increase. The only employees right now that are anywhere close to market are our teachers. Everybody else is substantially outside of that for the most part, collectively as categories. And so it would be my recommendation when you're looking at the numbers to really look at that cost to the 95% because you're looking at 2 years lagging, like a 2 year. This is information from not this year, but from last year. So if we didn't do an increase this past year, and everybody was moving up, then we also need to consider the increase for this upcoming school year, and that's why I have that 95% of market highlighted in blue. Some of the other analysis we did today, and I'm not sure if Scott has updated numbers. So we were working this pretty good. We are guesstimating, but we don't want to give you the exact number right now because it takes a lot of analysis, and he was out. But the cost savings for this year on when we did a hiring freeze is approximately $700,000. Is that correct, Scott?
Yes, ma'am.
For the positions that we did not fill from January on. But when you actually look at the absorbed positions for the 26-27 school year, we did come up with a number greater than that $1.5 million, but we were trying to parse out some specifics. So the range is between $1 and $1.5 million for the positions that we've absorbed. We don't have that exact number, but it is definitely
a substantial amount.
it's a substantial amount. So
You can't tell us the exact, I mean,
Well,
the difference between $1 million and $1.5 million, that's a big difference.
yes, sir. So, well, we know this, right? So I've given you that payroll variance for the current year that we're in, 25-26, and just with the people by not paying them out through the end of the year, right? Because we absorbed those positions as they became open. You know, we were at $671,341
plus
in
benefits.
saved payroll.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you
What's that going to do?
extend that out as to a full year, that's where we're landing in that close to that $1.5 million. Now, I think the number we pulled up today was higher than that, but again, I always err on the conservative side of that. I think the payroll could potentially be lower. I just did not feel comfortable with the number I was running, and I have preliminary budget built in, but I did include payroll because I knew we were going to change it. And so the only thing I had in my payroll, in my preliminary budget, is all operating and benefits. So this afternoon I was trying to pull that, but you got to go into the employee management side, which I'm not as familiar with on the HR side, and pull from that compensation plan and pull it into the budget side. And so that's where I got hung up this afternoon. And so I can get with our consultant, since Dan is out, and he can kind of walk me through how to update the payroll side, and I can give you down to the penny what we're looking at with the salaries that we have in the system.
I guess where I'm, whatever we decide to do, that to me that decision can't be made right now, because how are we going to finish up this year compared to our $3 million deficit that we adopted this time last year? Where are we finishing? And what are we looking at for 26-27? Give us 3 different scenarios. Give us the cost for specific adjustments of $363,000 or $500,000. What's that going to do to next year's budget? I guess I want to see that before we start talking about approving $300 and some odd $400,000 pay raise. I mean, I'm all for the pay raise, but I want to know where we're going to finish this year out and what next year's looking like based on where we're at right now before we decide whether. You see where I'm going?
Yes, sir.
I mean, I feel like we need to know as a board where we're at.
Yes, sir. So last month, and that number is going to, it's going to fluctuate depending on how the summer finishes. But last month I reported to you that we were going to finish with a variance of just over $1 million between our budget, our revised budget, and where we expect to finish 25-26. So
Finish a little over $1 million.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And what are we looking at for 26-27?
So
Are we even that far
How do we
yet?
swing this?
Well, the compensation plan is what drives the majority of the budget since it's the biggest piece of the budget, and so that's why we can't get to that number. So Scott can tell you
Okay, so
what.
what, so then if we, okay, let's work off of the 363,000. Or what does the rest of you think? Whether that or the 363 and 500 and mine says I can't read it. What is it, 500?
502,
502,000?
326, yeah, 3.
So, looking at just we're looking at it from like multiple perspectives, trying to make sure that we're thinking through all angles. And so we wanted to make sure we were trying to get just the maintenance and operations part for you. So he has a report that will run all funds. So we had 17 point something million in total payroll last year budgeted. So as we were running different reports this afternoon, we were basically trying to parse out some of those other pieces of it. So it was just the maintenance and operations side. So, how are you? So, do you have those reports pulled up on your laptop?
Yes,
So, like this year, for the positions that we saved for this year that we didn't hire, it's right at around 700,000 for this year of salary freeze that we've done. So that saves us on this particular year 25-26 budget, right? That same savings rolls forward and then some for next year. And that's where we were getting roughly $1.5 million, but we wanted to make sure we really were able to pinpoint exactly where that's at. And that's what we were trying to figure out. Well, does that include any of our other funds, or is it just general fund? And so that's what we were kind of trying to work through to make sure. And we had it, and we were right at it. It was a little bit higher than 1.5, but to be on the safe side, we put between 1 and 1.5 because we wanted to be able to get in and actually run it as we get closer to actually adopting the budget for these specific employees. Because we have a handful of vacancies still in there at midpoint, so we don't know the exact dollar amount, but we have a range. And so, how else can you describe that, Scott? Because you were pulling out.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll just throw it out there because it's me that's run the calculations, and I've told you from the front end I want to be more accurate. So when I run it, and I'm running just base salary and not putting into insurance or any of the benefits, Medicare and so on. So when I do that, I look at 25-26 and our projected payroll without any adjustments. I show a variance of 1.8 million. So a decline in next year's payroll of $1.8 million. And that is comparing, that's not really comparing apples to apples because the run that I have, I'm showing a budget of, in our general fund, of 13.152 in payroll. And so the projected payroll without any actions by the board, if we just stay to the current compensation plan across all funds, is 11.349. So if I run in Skyward and run our total budget across all funds for the current year, that number balloons up, and that's where I stop short of coming to you guys tonight and saying, hey, across all funds we're spending $17 million in payroll, and this next year we're going to spend 11 because that intuitively isn't right. So that's just being fully vested in it. That's why I come back to, I think payroll-wise, we're looking at, without any actions by the board, a reduction of around $1.5 million on a conservative number.
And that's just rolling them with no increase at all.
That's where we'll.
Yeah, like if we rolled everybody and said we froze everybody, that
Teacher
would,
step increases. would be.
Well,
Yeah,
well,
the-
yeah,
the-
teacher step increase, but that's just rolling everybody forward.
Just
like
keeping everything as is.
As
we can
is,
already
yes.
see.
Be about
1.5 million
Okay.
in payroll.
That's what it's gonna cost us.
No, that's the
That's
savings.
where,
That's the
that's where
savings.
if we didn't give any,
If we don't give any
just
raise.
keep
No
any
raise at
raises,
all.
we don't do anything, that's where we'll end up having the same as, how do we know which one to choose when we don't know really we don't know for sure where we're gonna be at, because what is this gonna do to us next year? And so it's when he was saying, the conservative side is about 1.5. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so you have,
Is that including like your proposed, I mean, like after you have looked at the stipends, is that including that, or is that like with changes that, because I'm assuming you have come up with changes to it.
We have just a couple of recommendations, actually. We,
very
with
many.
this right here, proposal rolls all those retention allotment stipends into the proposed salary. So it's already included in that, so that was already part of their base, basically, and then gave everybody at least that 2 and moved everybody into the proper range that they needed to be in for their, based on the 24-25.
Melissa, if I understand you right, you're asking, so any recommendations to eliminate certain stipends or reduce certain stipends?
Right.
Would lower this number.
Okay,
right?
that's what I-
Because
yeah. I didn't know if it was
This
already-
is just operating base salaries.
Okay.
Right, we don't do percent increases or adjustments to stipends.
Right.
Stipends.
Okay,
So
thank
this
you.
is just your base salaries that
Okay.
we're looking at.
So this
Thank
is,
you.
this is nothing, just flat
Yeah.
out.
just there's-
If we didn't do anything on salaries, on payroll, are you to a point, I mean, I know it's the end of June, we still got a few months yet to go. Are you to a point to where if we just left salaries as is, how are we going to end up the 26-27 budget? What's it looking
so-
like? What's the deficit? Or I'm assuming, or are we
Yeah,
getting
no,
closer to a balanced budget?
yeah, so we did not, because we had to make changes to our PEMS numbers, I wanted to get updated summer PEMS in there, so I have not, those were done, they were due last Thursday, and when I left on Wednesday, Danielle was sending it to the state, Tuesday or Wednesday before I left. So I have not rerun the template to do that. Now, I can tell you, my last run, what I have for it. And I actually did a run with the ADA adjustment, so I said it's like I'm able to count.
Oh, this one's been updated.
Okay, so that
Oh.
was
Yeah, this one that has the blue on it is the updated version for today. Yeah, that was just to get you guys that over the weekend so we could do some more analysis on it. And then I was able to pull out federally funded positions today.
so I can do it.
Yeah, that's why you have that one over there.
Thought that was going crazy.
No, you're not going crazy.
Well, you are, believe it or not.
Can't help it.
And I figured you'd want to look at it like in your hand tonight since it was updated. And it had a few extra notes and some additions and changes to it.
So I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
If we absorb 40 positions, none of those are going to, goes without saying, but none of those are going to have to be replaced at
No,
all?
we've already rolled in the vacant positions into this spreadsheet.
Okay.
So all of our vacancies are already included in here.
Okay.
So we've gone from how many employees to how many employees total?
We will have, I don't know how many we had when we ran payroll, when we budgeted last year. I'm guessing 310. Is that right,
Is it
Scott?
310 and 315?
Yeah,
Something
that's
like
what I was
that.
thinking, around 350.
So we have, 247 plus 23 is 270, and then but that includes the vacant positions. Scott reran it today. He was showing 279, but he had several duplicates in his spreadsheet. So, because we wanted to double and we're like cross-checking. Now, one position we have in here is for an athletic trainer. I think that position's going to be pulled out, and we're going to end up contract servicing it. But we're ballparking these. I mean, there are no other positions we have to fill that are not included in the run of all of the categories that we have. Because we've included all of those in here.
When you contract somebody out like that, how does the your pay wise differ? Are they about the same?
Oh, it's
or-
so substantially less because it's not a full-time FTE. And so I think our budgeted athletic trainer position was around, we were looking at market, I think around 65,000. And I believe a contracted services trainer comes in at around, don't quote me because I haven't seen a contract in a while, but it's around 20-ish thousand
How does
dollars.
that look though?
Yeah.
During the school year, like as far as all our,
Yeah.
They're contracted for games, and it just
Oh,
depends on how
yeah.
you contract them out. Yeah, but we.
So what would happen, like, a kid gets a concussion, they just get a sprained ankle,
Yeah,
like even
they
during
need morning,
workouts or
they
practices?
need morning, I don't know how, well, I guess I would ask Smallwood on how he was gonna do it, because I know, like, if our kids got hurt and it wasn't ER worthy, they'd have to be at the field house at 6
Yeah.
to be in ice or get treatment.
Treat.
yeah.
Daniel, idea.
So how would that,
And I feel like there's lots of kids that they take advantage. I mean,
Yeah.
they use that.
oh, yes, I'm the concussion protocol, I mean, like, mine had a concussion, and
Yeah, and that's concussion protocol. We would just visit with our school nurse, and if it's a concussion head injury, we're going to protocol that like we would as a campus administrator. We're going to send them to the
I
doctor.
think, okay, but that would be like, it's a UIL side of things, and then there's doctor side of things, because the nurse wouldn't do it, like, they would have to be on a whole treatment. I guess I'm curious, I mean, maybe we could ask about that, because that
Yeah.
doesn't, because the nurse wouldn't,
Yeah, because
I mean-
I know my kids had like I think one of them had their knee or something, and they had to come in every day in the morning at a certain
Rehab.
time to do that.
no, but like with Jake, when he got a concussion, they allowed him to drive home, and he doesn't remember to this day driving home.
Yeah,
And the concussion was not as severe at school, so I took him to the ER, and it opened up a whole nother door. So then, once we took him to physical therapy, because that's where I wanted him to be instead of the school, because I was disappointed in letting him drive home. Then the trainer came to me and told me on the UIL side, he still, in order to practice, he still had to have a certain amount of training daily with him that he had to sign off on too. So it's not just the physical therapist, or it's a doctor. You got to go to the doctor, then you got to go to the physical therapist, and then you got to go to your trainer. And if you're just in the trainer's care, there's a lot of documentation on that.
Process that they have to follow.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Especially with. I would.
I mean, we've had the athletic trainer position posted, and we've had one applicant and offered it, but the person declined the position because they're making substantially more at their current job. So I mean, we can't go without it, without the services. So then your next best option is to contract services. And at least have them here for the games. Now, I know in Seagraves, they would come out every now and whenever the coach needed them to come out, they would come and check on kids and do certain things, but they're not going to be there every day, for sure, not on contracted services, unless we found local possibly and we contract something differently that way.
So even though if we do contract, I mean, is it still an option, like even throughout the school year, if we do find somebody that we can still hire? Okay.
Yeah. Now, if we go into a contract, we still have to pay out the contract.
Yeah.
So.
Because I don't think you'll see as many like
I think
on site like
football
you
would be the
would
worst
for
concussion.
football.
Yeah,
You know what
concussions
I mean?
is the biggest.
You have kids with concussions, cramps, and the trainer's out there the whole time. So I mean,
Yeah.
games and practices too. So
Yeah.
I mean, you might got hurt at practice.
And even like when we go out of town, they travel with them. So it's
Yeah,
like,
that's what the contracted services.
Okay.
They were at all the games.
Okay.
I would be okay with that. I'm just not comfortable with not having a trainer on a full contact sport there.
I-
And watching the signs and watching you just you
I
never know.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
We don't
But I guess
have
at this
to.
point we don't have a choice.
Yeah,
We
like-
can't find anybody.
I mean, we'll keep it posted,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's just
Yeah.
or just there are no applicants. That's why a lot of districts have to contract it out.
Yeah.
So.
Next.
So I do not have.
See what I'm asking?
No, I'm with you. I don't have a run for
I mean,
26, 27 because I didn't have the data from PEMS to put in. So it's.
Yeah.
are you asking us to? What are you asking us tonight?
Tonight, I would ask the board to consider doing a cost adjustment for the specific cost, either at the 92 or 95% of market that's listed there. I would say in order to get the staff somewhat of a boost to get us hopefully chipping away at that differential to market, to consider doing the 95 so that we do not continue to fall further and further behind the market average, so that we don't lose hard to fill positions, that we don't lose people to other districts, and that we can get our para auxiliary staff closer to market where they need to be. So that would be my request from you. Right now we are predicting at least right now $1 million of savings from this year's budget. About $700,000 of that from payroll.
So right there, you're saying we're going from $3 million deficit to about $2 million deficit.
Yeah, I think it was 2.6
to 1.6 just off of the current year savings.
Yes.
2.6 to 1.6 off the current year.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're down to 1.6.
Yes.
Right.
But my question is, I mean, you're asking us to decide whether 360,000 or 502,000 or whatever, based on not knowing what kind of, okay, let's say if things hold and we end up with $1 million deficit for the year. What's 26, 27 look based on the 40 positions that you have?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the revenue to
So-
give to you.
Or
I think we can get it. It doesn't help you tonight. I can
No,
work the
That's
revenue
why I'm asking,
projections
is this a
with him.
decision you gotta have tonight? Because to me, I don't think you've given us enough information to make this decision.
Yeah,
Or
it
you haven't
depends.
given me enough.
Yeah, it depends on what the board wants to do. And so I know it's a difficult position to put the board in because we won't know where we're going to end up. We have projections, but we won't know that until pretty much August, right?
You just hit the nail
So-
on the head by putting the board in a difficult position.
Right. But that's,
Okay, that's all I needed to hear.
yeah, that's, I mean, where we lie. And so, but I will say that we've done an incredible job, reducing personnel and saving the district a substantial amount of money this year based off of what was budgeted, and are carrying that plus a whole lot more forward. And I think that now would be the time for the board to make an adjustment to salary so we don't lose
and
personnel.
I'm not saying
So.
that adjustment's not needed. I'm
Yeah.
just saying we need some
Make a
information.
proper, make a
Yeah,
proper
well, and we,
decision.
You're
because
asking-
Peam's summer submission was not done until late last week with all of the adjustments, like, he is not able to have that ready yet.
What is the latest that we can wait? I know we can't wait till August, but, I mean, I know we're meeting again
You
Thursday.
remember
Do we have
though,
a,
past
yeah,
past two or three pay raises, we waited till the very end.
Yeah. Are there any other monies coming in that we know of that'll?
No. Now, what we do have to do, and the reason why the timing is of the essence is if anybody is going to have, because you're looking at compensation plans, and compensation includes stipends, so you've got to approve both, right? And so if we have anybody that is going to lose, if we're making any adjustments, we have a 45-day notice that we have to have a conversation with personnel to have those conversations.
so it just puts us out 45 more days. I mean,
With
if we
45
don't
days
have-
is this week.
Is this week, yeah.
Yeah.
I
To
just-
notify.
I guess where I'm thinking is, of course, we need to give our teachers, we need to give our staff more money, 100%.
Get that.
But I feel like we need to know where we're going to end pretty close on what it's going to look like before we put the district in a position. I'm not saying that, I guess, to be able to make a fair, because of course we'd want to go with the more higher,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's hard to make a decision where we don't know where we're ending.
Sure. Well, I think we've given you, in previous, in terms of how we're ending this year, I think we've given you pretty good numbers. I think you
Round
can
about.
count on that
You're
being
pretty
pretty
confident. You're
close.
pretty
Pretty
I feel
confident.
pretty comfortable, yes.
With $1 million.
You and I have talked before about what's a comfortable variance in that, right? So, out of a $20 million budget, if I think it's $1,091,000 and it's $925,000, I feel like I'm hitting it pretty close. But no, I feel pretty confident that you're going to be in the $1 million.
But do we know yet? Are you?
For next
You got the
year.
budget for next year.
Yeah,
That's what
so-
we got to take into account next
Yeah.
year.
No, sir,
Making
no,
issues, decisions
and I
also.
understand that. I apologize. I mean, I would love to be able to give you a revenue projection for next year. I just didn't have numbers that.
That's what I'm saying.
I would have given you a
I'm not
soft
saying it's
estimate
off the
already.
table. I'm just
Yeah.
saying give us
No,
some
I
information,
understand
so-
But I
completely.
think it's something that we can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're not.
We just
Like,
need
I
to know
can
how
understand. I
much.
can understand if it
Upside
was
down.
we're in July. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're going to be between payroll and your. So we had 1.2 million budgeted in capital expenditure. Now some of that's your lease on computers each year, that kind of thing. But about 800,000 of that is one-time expenses, right, for vehicles and HVAC units and those kinds of things. So I think you're going to be expense-wise, your expense budget, if we're talking about next year, you're falling in about a $2 million reduction in expenses, or better. Okay? What I don't have for you tonight is on the revenue side.
So you're saying we could
We're getting-
scare the heck out of a balanced budget?
Well, remember when
Is
you
that
said
what you're telling me?
chip away, chip away. I'm chipping
No,
away.
I don't think we're going to be
It-
closer to balance in here. I think we'll be
Yeah.
closer than 2.6.
Close, yeah. We're gonna
But
be.
like
We're
here's
getting
why
close.
is I don't have your revenue projection yet.
Yeah,
And I think our revenue is going to be down because we have a reduction in
Yeah,
ADA.
that's all I want to hear.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's all I want to
So
hear.
I just can't give you a good revenue estimate yet. I can put the numbers in tomorrow and give you a revenue estimate, but I can't give you a revenue estimate without the updated.
Summer Beam
Even
submission.
then, I'm projecting, right, because I'm taking end of the year's deal, which last year I hit local revenue. We're going to end up being about $400,000 off on state revenue, but it's ADA reduction. On the local, we're within $2,000 where I projected revenue. So we hit it really well. But you have to, so even when I put the summer teams numbers in to calculate revenue for next year, I'm still making a best guess on what our actual enrollment is going to be next year without knowing what happens during the summer. I'm taking where were we on the last day of school and looking at our trend analysis and saying we lose about this many kids a year, and then I'll build that in to give you that revenue projection. But I think expense-wise, we're going to be $2 million or more less in expenditures next year. I just can't give you a number on revenue yet, but it's going to be down. Now, in the legislation, there were a number of items, weighted items, special ed's one of them, that those funding mechanisms did not kick in the first year of the biennium. They do go into the second year for 26, 27. So there are going to be some things that are going to come on for revenue. They're not huge numbers, but they will hopefully offset some of the loss in ADA. But yeah, that's where I'm stuck now, is I just haven't had time being back today to run you a revenue projection.
Well, that's all.
I think we're good with that.
But I do think
How many more years
expense-wise,
do we have on them computers? How much longer?
I believe this year was year 2 of a 4-year.
2 more.
So 2 more years.
2 more years?
Yes, sir. The downside of that one is going to be, this isn't a situation where you have devices that you own.
Mm-hmm.
So when that lease is up, all those student devices go.
It's going to be
And
just
so,
a continuum.
I won't be here to walk y'all through that. Dr. Avey's very capable, but what I would have recommended is looking at, and we've got a lot of feedback from instructional staff and from IT about whether we want to be one-to-one across the board. You have a lot of devices that go home. We're spending tens of thousands of dollars on lost, and kids are supposed to pay that back, but you're losing a lot of money on sending those devices home and damages and things that happen with them. And you can collect all you want to, but it doesn't, it's not a wash.
That's
And
what-
so I
what the
think you can
staff-
look at class sets going forward, because you're going to have to do this again. So when that 2 years is up, you can kind of look at your options for.
Wasn't the staff a little hesitant, I mean, from the get-go, going to one-to-one? In the beginning.
Oh, I wasn't here when that happened
decided
here,
to let
but
kids have it and take it.
yeah, there's a lot of
There was,
hesitation on my part to let them go home because you
I don't
lose.
think,
So,
whenever that decision was made several years back, correct me if I'm wrong,
We weren't given, I mean, that
Well,
wasn't.
I mean,
because of the repair costs and because of the,
I get that side, but when you look at it on a middle school and high school side, these kids have a lot of extracurricular activities. They're dual credit.
That's true.
They don't have computers at home. They don't have laptops. They are getting homework done. So what ended up happening, I mean, because I was a parent that actually made one of those calls. My kid was trying to get his work done home and homework, and because we didn't have anything at home for him to work on. So it might be, yes, a cost, but I don't think it's worth
There's a big
saving there versus their education and being fair to get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
those are options y'all have in a couple of years to start walking through. My son's at Hutch Middle School, they're one-to-one, but they don't take them home without some sort of consent, right? It's just not automatically just go in the bag and go, and
Right.
you just come and go with it. If he says, hey, I need to work, then the teacher can go, no, you don't have any things, you
Yeah.
know. So there's some things you could put in place process-wise, administration could put in that
Yeah.
could protect your devices and still make it available for those situations where a kid needs to sign them out. But just letting all kids, all grade levels sign them out, I'm just suggesting
Right,
that
no,
might be
yes.
Especially for the dual credits, I mean, I think those are the ones that really needed the most.
so if I'm understanding right, then with what you have right now, we've gone from, as far as finishing this year, out looking at about $1 million deficit.
Yes.
Compared to, we started out at
Well, $1 million less,
What?
so we're looking at about a 1.6
1.6.
deficit
Oh, okay.
instead of 2.6.
Okay, $1 million less. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now I'm
Yes,
with you.
Yeah.
Which is still good.
Yeah, in a dream
I mean,
world, if
yes,
you could hit the revenue again next year, I think you could be within $500,000 between, say $750,000 deficits. I mean, I think you could cut that deficit in half next year. I just don't know that our revenue's going to hold. I think you're going to have a hit there. So, and we can push those numbers. But what I'm trying to give you some ease about is I think your expenses are trending the right way. We're making those cuts, and so you're doing it in the area that's the most impacted on your budget. We're looking at, we put salaries off in federal funds to help with that. We're looking at our increased instructional allotment that is not in your regular state allotment, but your textbook fund, your IMA. And we've already spent some of that this year, so you won't have enough for next year's payment. But there's a chance that you could use that to pay for part of your lease payment next year. And then when the new biennial money comes out, depending on what has to be adopted, what your district chooses, you may be able to make all of your lease payment that last year with textbook funds and not come out of your general fund. So there's some things you can do there going forward.
I guess what I would like to see before the next meeting would be is if we held everything status quo, what 26, 27 would look like. And then that way we can take these numbers that you give us here and decide whether, because I'm assuming it's going to be a deficit.
So so Scott can pull the summer PEAM submission that we just submitted last week.
Or based
run it.
on, you tell us that you cut from 310, 315 to 2, what the payroll in that,
275-ish, yeah.
what the payroll in that 275 would be for
Yeah.
26, 27, and how that's going to factor in with all the other stuff, and or wherever that comes out, whatever kind of deficit, or whether it's balanced or whatever,
Okay.
and then us be able to look at.
Before I go home tomorrow,
These figures
I'll
here.
have
Yeah,
those.
we can. We can have that for you. He just has to have the ability to
I know,
have the
I know.
time to do it. So we can get that for you. We can run the budget projection as it stands right now, running the template with our, and we'll take into the cost and the ADA the 5-year trend of decline of enrollment. So we'll adjust for that too, which is what is the prudent thing to do. And then we can put in the expenditures, the predicted expenditures. So we have that. So we just don't have the projected revenue just because we resubmitted summer PEAMs.
Is there anything else?
Did you guys want to review any of these? I know the athletic stipends coach will be here during the actual board meeting. He may actually be here. There he is. And so he can go through those with y'all. Do you guys have any questions about the other stipends? So I ran the list and went through every single stipend that we had as a district. And so they're all on this one page. And so on the back page is basically with the recommendation, with the information you guys had on the salary on this one pager to do the adjustments. That was including rolling this first bullet, stipends, the support staff retention allotment stipend, the ESL coordinator, interventionist, commuter facilities, and migrant service stipend, rolling all of those in, with the exception of that migrant services eliminating completely.
And they went up on the stipends?
No, on those are what we're assuming we're going to roll in to take them off as stipends off the list, and we're rolling those into this salary already for these adjustments. But we have some critical needs areas, and so we've just got some variances with critical needs stipends, and so we're trying to get all of those leveled out and fleshed out, and trying to get the critical needs area set at 6,000. The non-tested critical needs set at 2,000, and then the non-critical needs removed. And then there's discussion about as far as band, what do we want to do with those stipends? It's getting them closer to market, and then also increasing stipends for life skills and getting those. That's an exceptionally hard to fill position as far as the special ed teacher side, and then also the TA side. So we have recommendations for increasing that stipend, those two stipends. So
Almost 6 o'clock, so
Okay.
we'll probably just go ahead and wait till you
Perfect.
present and we'll ask you.
okay.
This meeting of the trustees of Lamesa Independent School District is now in order. It is 6:02 on June 23rd, 2026. A quorum is present with all board members present, except for Cindy Martinez. This meeting has been duly called, and this notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. Pastor Boyd, would you please lead us in prayer?
If you bow your heads at this time, dear Heavenly Father, Father God, we come, Father God, as gracious and humble as we can, oh God. Father God, yet again, thank you, Father God, for another day that you blessed us to see, oh God. Father God, we know that it was you, oh God, that blessed us this day, oh God. So, Father God, we say thank you, Lord. Father God, as we come together, oh God, on this day, oh God, to make the right decisions for our children and our staff, oh God, and our community, oh God. Father God, we ask, oh God, you clear our minds of anything, oh God, that will hinder us from doing your will, oh God. Father God, we pray, oh God, that you speak to us, oh God, as we make the decisions, oh Heavenly Father, for our community, oh God. And Father God, we lift up each and every board member, oh God. Father God, we thank you for each and every one of them, oh God, in their service, oh Heavenly Father. Father God, we pray, oh God, over our teachers and our students, oh God, for this upcoming year, oh Heavenly Father. Father God, we ask, oh God, you keep them safe, whether on the football field, basketball court, or track, or in the school building, oh Heavenly Father. Father God, we ask, oh God, you keep them safe, oh God. Father God, we cover each and every school bus, oh God. Father God, we ask, oh God, that you just watch over and protect us, oh God, in each and every way, oh God. Father God, we pray this prayer and every prayer in your Son, Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Did anyone sign up to speak?
Yes, ma'am. Debbie Segovia.
I'll stand over here. No, worries.
Oh,
no, that's okay.
Yeah, sure. Get it.
No, because I really, yeah, I promise.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm positive. So, tell me when, Burnett.
I'll tell you when. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to start off by saying I'm not here to point fingers or point blame at anyone in this room. This is just simply for me to share my concerns as a community member and as a previous candidate that was running for this past election. I do want to start off with thank you to all the people that took time to count the votes. We're here day in and day out, the poll watchers. I want to share how it is important for us to move to, and it makes me so emotional because this was very close. All of you have ran, so you know how hard we work for these positions and how hard we work to try to earn that position. From the beginning, I'm going to share my personal experience from walking into elections, walking in to vote. There was one person that was working that election post. One person. I don't understand how one person is running that election post and running the front office. When my experience working for the school, we're a team. We work together. Afraid, not afraid. You work that poll. We pull together. And I'm shaking because I'm so nervous. But
You're good.
I do, that was one thing, is mistakes can be made like that easily. So that's one thing. We should not one person should have been working that election poll by themselves, manning the door, manning the people that coming in, the phone calls. In my experience of working that front office, it took a team. If I was on the phone, my other team member stepped up and took care of that parent. But we always made sure that our parents and students were taken care of. That was my firsthand experience with it. And I don't want to waste all my time with it, but I do want to point out that these ballots were counted more than one time. After an hour that I received the call that I had votes of 314, within 2 hours I received a call that a candidate, Albert, had requested a recount. I received a call from Burnett. Burnett said, we've never had this happen. I'm going to call Secretary of State. Yes, that's what we do. That's the correct thing to do. The next day I received the call. Everything has checked in. Your request is granted. We did the recount. We did it several times. Again, I'm not blaming anyone. My whole purpose of this is that we move to the county. I got the call that we were going to do the recount. The recount happened. That night of the recount, we counted those votes 2, 3, 4, almost 5 times. After talking to Secretary of State, they told me that should have only been counted 1 time. I spoke to an attorney at Secretary of State. Sorry. In those times, the second count, and I'm just going to mention my name, okay, Albert? My time is up. The count that we counted after you requested, Albert had 316 and I had 316. April, you didn't know. You must have been told by somebody. You just went and called the attorney. What should have happened, the Secretary of State should have been called on what to do next. I'm not blaming you at all. You were just doing what you were told. Count them again. The school attorney that don't answer to any of us, to the community members, the voters, that school attorney made that decision. Count them again until you come back with the same number. Counted them again. Debbie, 317. Albert, 316. Count them again. Counted them again. A tie, 316. What do we do now? April, went and call the attorney. Attorney said, we'll do a runoff election. For 2 weeks, Albert and I sat waiting for a date to do the runoff election. We were telling our voters, our family, we're going to have a runoff election. Yes, a clear and transparent. From April, we're going to do everything we can to move it to the county. A week or days before this this happened, this last recount that happened, I received a call. We're not going to do the election. We're going to do another recount. I then called Secretary of State. They gave me section code 200.2 and said, call your school board president and tell her you want another election. I called Secretary of State. Any of you call Secretary of State. It's like calling Spurlocks to order your food. It's not hard. You talk to an attorney and they will give you the answer. I gave that code to Scott Lucas. He then said, I'm sorry, we're going to deny that request because our attorney said so. Not Secretary of State, but the school attorney that don't answer to any of us. That doesn't answer to the community, the students, or the staff. Now, if we're doing that for these elections, that person's making the shots and the calls for you, your taxpayer money, those students, she don't answer to anybody. It's these guys right here. It's you, Albert. So we need to do better. We need to move these elections to the county. These were counted way too many times. How do we expect the community, the voters, to trust this system? They're not going to trust that you were elected in there fairly. They're not going to trust that you were fairly. Because we're a small town. They cheated the system. So I'm just asking, not only on behalf of myself, but for the future people that are going to run for this seat, move it to, you can't put a price on a voter. You can't put a price on that. Do it. I understand we're in a budget deficit, but just like every superintendent, you'll come and go. These people are here to stay.
Thank you. Okay, now it's time to conduct the oath.
Yes, ma'am.
Howard? Come on up. Oh, Emily.
You want to put it on a piece of paper or you want to?
I forgot about my I forgot I was supposed to do it.
My hand up? Oh, sorry. You're just going to repeat after me. Okay,
I, Albert,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of office of Board of Trustees
the duties of office of Board of Trustees
of the State of Texas,
of the State of Texas,
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution
preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution
and laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Valor. Welcome in. Come take your seat. This would be y'all's quick second to leave if you want, or you're more than welcome to stay, but we're about to move on to the rest of the agenda.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, family.
Damn, we had big
And
crowds.
friends.
We had big crowds.
Nobody's here for us, okay? Nobody's here to just listen. Pastor Wood's like, what do I do?
I'd go if I were you.
Grab your hat and run.
Yeah.
And run.
Can be a long night.
I know how to take care of myself.
Okay. All right, we will now move on to rearranging the board. I know we had said to rotate every 2 years. I want to thank you all for allowing me to be president this year. And
I'd like to move to keep you as president.
Okay.
all in favor? Oh, sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Now let's go on to
Vice President.
Vice President. I make a motion for Kevin Tolchik to be Vice President.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank y'all.
Now we'll move on to Secretary. Can I get a motion for Secretary?
I move that we nominate Melissa.
No, I get a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Congratulations, people.
Okay. Now, let's move on to the financial report. Not that Scott isn't tired already, but let's go.
I'm sorry.
Damn, sure.
The pull-out thing?
Yeah.
Thanks, sir.
I appreciate these guys.
Me too.
I like it with this better.
I can honestly meet with you. Yes, sir. With that?
Yes, sir.
Wet your paper. Wet your paper.
All right, so just looking at the budget versus actual, you can see the revised budget, which includes amendments made by the board throughout the year compared to the original budget. And then year-to-date activity, which includes, in the middle column, encumbrances are those items that we have a PO sitting out there, but we have not yet made payment. In some cases, those get cleaned up. We try to go through every couple of months, and we'll contact the department that initiated it and say, hey, this is still sitting out here. What's going on? Did we order that? We're waiting on it. So we get pretty persistent in the summer because we don't want something sitting out there that crosses over the budget year. But I will tell you, looking under encumbrances, if you'll go down to Function 52, Security and Monitoring Services, you see an encumbrance of $145,424. That's for the 2 remaining SRO vehicles that have not been paid for. They are ready. And so we are running a check this week to Silsbee Ford to pay for those last 2 vehicles. They have not been
Here,
picked
have
up
you
yet.
seen them?
Not seen them.
Well,
I just want to go and see them. when
we
they're
have
here
gone
and
back
just
and
be
forth.
like,
They
oh,
were
okay.
going to deliver them, and then we just found out last week
Yeah.
they are not going
Yeah,
to
we're
deliver
not
them.
gonna deliver them.
So now we have to send a team to go pick them up. So we're going to, yeah.
And they did not email Albert that.
And have we
so
decided what we're gonna
I
do
talked
with
to
them
him
want to
today.
go back.
You
The
guys
lights
get to
on.
decide.
So that 145 will be paid. That is for the 2 remaining vehicles.
You can?
It does large amount. I'll have to look into the plant maintenance. I'm not sure what's sitting out there encumbered that we've not paid. That's kind of a lot. So
Do you ever have some of them line items with that still have money at the end, or?
oh yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yeah. In fact, one of the things that I've tried to clean up, I haven't been perfect at it, is I don't like individual account lines to be over. And we want things expended to go to the correct account code.
Correct.
So today I had a transfer because we had a PO come in. It was classed to the wrong account, so it needed to go to a different account, but that account was not budgeted for. But they were in the same function. Now, if it's outside, I'm kind of sharing, we've got a new board member. You have those function codes on the far left, 11, 12, 13, so on. Any money moved between functions requires board approval. And so I don't do that without you guys. That's when I bring you amendments and say we need to do this. And we really don't do a lot of that during the year. What will happen in August is you'll have that final amendment before the end of the year. And we'll make a budget amendments that will change those functions. It may be moving money from function to function or just adding to make sure we cover payroll and things that hit after September 1st that go back on the prior year.
Are your POs manually written up?
So the staff, if they, so just a scenario, say a high school teacher wants to order some novels for her class. Then she would fill out a paper requisition, turn it into the office, and from there the office generates electronic requisition. So that campus secretary puts everything into our business information system, and then everything from there going forward is digitalized. But we do scan things. So the original paper requisition is scanned and added to it, as well as invoices, quotes, and those kinds of things.
So we should be, I mean, we're 9 months in, right?
Yeah, this is through May, so yes, sir, 9 months in.
So we should be saving about 75%.
It starts leveling out. You know, as talked about in the fall, it's skewed because of so much is paid on the early end. So yeah, when we look at this report, we'll finish this one up and I'll do the year over year, Kevin. You can see the difference between where we are today versus this time of last year on the expenditure side. So you can see there through May we budgeted for the year 21,974. Through May, we've spent $16,308 with another almost $600,000 encumbered, with an unencumbered balance of $5 million. So that fiscal year-to-date column of percentage 76.94 includes encumbrances. We're assuming those bills will be paid. If some of those, now that happens, we do a blanket PO because it's for utilities. And we budget, and I can tell you I over budgeted for electricity this year because I went ahead and budgeted off of the higher electric rate that just started June 1st. So our bills will kick up this summer because it's summer and the new rate started January 1 that the board previously adopted. So, but that said, I expect our electric bills to all fall under what we encumbered. So I can tell you on under plant maintenance operations, some of that $191,000 will not come out of electricity because I think we over budgeted for that. But yes, sir. So when you look at the including encumbrances, we're at 76.94, so right there, close to where you expect to be this time.
Pretty good.
And actually, because of and since this is through May, the accrual process is confusing for folks, but we accrue payroll for teachers, people on a 187-day contract or 9-month because they're being paid through the summer. So we're actually accruing that. So our payroll in June and July will be half of what it normally is. Because we've got an invisible bucket sitting in the Skyward system that we've already set aside money throughout the year as they actually earned the money. So when we see the activity in June, it should be down substantially over May because payroll drops because of the accruals. So I know when you looked at it and said, well, we're at 75, we're right about where we're supposed to be, makes us think that we're going to come in under budget, and that's why. Because your payroll, you have a substantial amount that's accrued for 10 and 11-month contracts. So we'll actually catch up in June and July. If you don't have any questions on this, again, at the bottom, just a reminder, same numbers. I just, instead of reporting it traditionally, you see the function, you approve the budget by function. Also do it by object codes because it gives you a little better idea of what the money's being spent on. When you look at function 11, it's instruction, but you can look down here and see what we're actually spending in the general fund for payroll. The next page is that year-over-year comparison. And you have 2026, so best comparison is your 2025 column and your 2026 column because it includes actuals and encumbrances. So you're comparing apples to apples. So you can see at this point, this year versus last year, we spent just over $400,000 more. But again, our budget was substantially higher. So to be only $400,000 ahead of where we were last year, with new vehicles being purchased, a bus being purchased, the House Bill 2 teacher increases, which were about $600,000 in required payroll expenditure. So that to me is a good way to kind of look at that and say, okay, there's a substantial change in our expense habits compared to a year ago when you have all these additional one-time expenses that we've already incurred. Just another way to kind of validate what you're being told. And you see the difference between the 2 years. It's 406, 522 with the 2.46% change in expenses. So again, knowing that you have close to $1 million in one-time expenses sitting out there, plus the increases in teacher payroll, tells you that we've done really well at trying to trim where we could. And the effectiveness Dr. Avy's hiring freeze has made on it. Any questions over that year-over-year comparison? Next page is your revenues and expenditures for your governmental fund types. These are the items, funds that you guys do not approve as a board because they're not a part of the general operating budget. But they are funds that we receive. I believe all of these are either, federal funds, 211 all the way down to 289. 265 is not our grant. It's the reimbursement we receive for the after-school tutoring. That number should stay stagnant until August. Not sure on the instructional side.
So tell me again, what are we using this money for?
Yeah, so every school district receives federal grants. Okay, the most common term that communities move with is Title I. Okay, so we have Title I grant, Title II, Title IV, Title V. Those are federal funds that are appropriated to each district based on your economically disadvantaged numbers. And so we complete an application each year for those funds, and most of it is spent on salaries. So in Title I, for example, is the biggest grant that we have. That revised amount from this, and the state allocates it on behalf of the federal government. So we got just under $760,000 in Title I money. And I don't know if I can open it because my computer's not able to connect to the Wi-Fi, but I think I already have it open. So just using Title I as an example, we budgeted $654,000 in payroll and tutoring. And so those are predominantly teachers. There's, I believe, 2 paraprofessionals that we pay out of Title I. And we have several teachers that we pay for out of Title I. It's just it's a revenue source that allows us to take some pressure off of our local funds. And it's intended to help us improve class sizes and allow us to focus on those students that often are more difficult to teach, that need more support, those things. Title II is also part of that ESSA application. That is, because they're in numerical order, not alphabetical order. So your Title II funds are a smaller amount and are typically used for teacher improvement, teacher instruction, professional development, in those areas.
Still payroll, correct?
Say again?
Still
The
payroll?
majority of
It
it.
could be payroll. See if it'll let me switch tabs here. It doesn't like what I'm doing right now.
We have 1 person paid out of Title II,
Yes.
and some is budgeted for
yeah.
other.
Yeah. And so, yeah, we do have payroll in that one because the person that we were paying for that does instructional support work. And so,
So that
so
person
her
that you pay out of
salary's
that,
paid
is
for.
that his or her full paycheck out of that, or do you do part?
It could. Now, in that case, that person's full salary is paid out of that.
Okay.
Go back to Title I because it's the largest one, and we have track 2. So we have 19. Well, this young man is no longer with us. So we paid for the entire year. We had 18 people in the district that we paid out of Title I funds. Of those 18, we had a couple of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had 6 stipends paid out of that. Okay. And those are for people that are working in intervention areas that were receiving an additional payment for that.
And they have to be certified in order to get, they have to.
They do not. So our paraprofessionals, the state has a requirement. There's some credentialing, so to speak, that they go through to be identified. And so, but that's the only credentials they have to have beyond a high school diploma. And so, as I mentioned, I think we have two paras in Title I and 1 in Title. A pre-K.
Idea B pre-K.
Yeah.
Real quick, is this mine?
Yes, sir. Yeah, yes, sir.
Because I'm writing it.
You're in
No, we have to
trouble.
register.
I'm already writing it over. Anyway, all right.
So, yes, sir. So, as you look through that, just gives you an idea of what we receive in those entitlement programs and how that money's what we've spent year to date. Okay, and because it's payroll in some cases. Now, Perkins Fund 244 is Perkins. We do not pay any payroll out of that. That one is really strict. It's what it can be used for. It can be used for payroll, but it cannot supplant. So we could not take someone doing cosmetology that we've been paying for out of the general fund and to switch them to Perkins, because that would be supplanting the local budget. So it's got to be used to pay for materials, or if we added a person, contracted service that we haven't used previously, we could pay for that out of Perkins. We would have done that this year, but our grant, it was past the due date, and we had a barber that we contracted with to provide some support down there. We could have paid for that out of Perkins had we, but we didn't have payroll. The district hasn't used payroll for Perkins, and if ever, and certainly not in recent years, and so that was not in the grant application, so we couldn't use it for that.
So you mentioned materials. So material like paper, pens, paper clips, or what kind of material?
Yeah, so with specific to the Perkins Fund, that's typically going to be more machinery expense type things. Just thinking of things over the years, they did a greenhouse one year, which is kind of on the edge of what that's allowed for. I was in a district that we had a teacher and we bought a plasma cutter, and so which is a commonly used tool now, and so to give kids an opportunity to train and be familiar with that, so when they are talking about going in the workforce, that they have actually seen some of the newer, more expensive equipment, to say that, yeah, they've with guidance from their teacher, they've made a project with it. So that's typically what those kind of things are used for. In home ec, we don't call it home ec anymore, that's just what we called it back when I was growing up. But in that program, if there's always, changes in the appliances and cooking things, you see these new tools coming in. And in the old days, we were teaching them all oven and cooktops, and now you've got air fryers and other things that you can potentially spend money on. So, and it can be spent on training for staff in the CTE area as well. And then going through there, just the other entitlement programs. Fund 410 that is a state allotment for instructional materials. We talked about that during the workshop, that could potentially be used to help pay for the computer lease going forward, depending on what adoptions take place and what materials the district ultimately chooses to use. But that number has gone up because the state providing additional funding to use the state developed resources, Bluebonnet. So if districts are using Bluebonnet materials, there's additional funding for it, plus you're not using your regular instructional material money to buy HMH or another publisher's textbook. So that's why I think there's potential to use that. And Dr. Navy and I talked about it before, there's not going to be enough money in the current biennium to do a full payment for this next year, but it could offset. And certainly I think when it rolls to the next year, you could potentially make your last computer payment with that.
I have a question. You said on those revenue funds, and it can be used for training. Does that have to be rolled into their budget, like when they first for the
No.
training? Or no?
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I mean,
It's to supplement. It's something that they're not used to having or receiving, so it's in addition to what we would
Okay.
do. So it's not
That's
part
what
of their general operating, anybody's budget.
okay.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry.
but do they know that it's there for that? I mean, for them to take advantage of it.
Well, it's for, I don't know how people are communicated with in our particular district as far as Perkins funds availability. Typically, you're looking in the CTE
Yeah,
area.
that's what I'm saying, like for those kind of
Yeah, for
training.
that. And so when something comes across as something outside of the regular scope of what they would generally purchase, then we can classify that as Perkins. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I can say in the past I've never sent out like an email or said, hey, we have a Perkins grant for anybody who wants access to it. As we start thinking of new and creative ideas and things to do, and teachers are wanting specific things to add that's in addition to what they might already have, that's when we think kind of more outside the box and say, okay, we could use Perkins for that. So, and we might have some things that we can reclassify.
They are aware that there's money available to buy equipment and those kinds of things. We added a new welding curriculum, and so we
training or
right. So it would just have to be a training that they don't normally attend or go through. So, kind of going back to the example of a new equipment. So, say we got something in business services, some kind of new software, fancy kind of thing. Lisa's good, but it may be something that's part of this new AI generation of stuff, right? And so, if there was an additional cost to have someone come out and train her on using that program or that computer, then you can pay for it out of Perkins. If the ag teacher got a plasma cutter, we didn't have one, and we had to pay for him to get some instructional training, safety training, anything like that, we can pay for it. And then the LASSO grant, again, that was $100,000 of that was required to be spent toward the service provider, which for Louisa is Region 17. And so you can see the expenses there. There were stipends given to the teachers that are going through the training and doing the extra work to implement those instructional practices. And so that's reflected in there as well. And so you still have I believe those were paid at semester. I know Jamie's not here, but we should have another payment to those employees, in, I believe, in August for that. And then our bond payment, we made the February payment, so no new activity on the expenditures there on the bond debt. Your big payment is, I believe, February's interest only, so your big payment is in August because you make your principal and interest payment. Any questions on the governmental funds? Then the last page is the check registry for the month of May. I believe it cut off, I believe there's 12 pages, if I remember right. A few items where we ask campuses to pre-order for next year so that we're not going right up against the end of the budget year and ordering budget items. But as you look through this list, a lot of this is going to be travel. You see math supplies. Most of that's going to be proactively ordering materials, manipulatives, things they need for the classroom, so that those campus secretaries can order them when we get in plenty of time.
Does each school get a budget?
Yes, sir. Yeah, each campus has a budget for.
What's that amount?
It varies by campus. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Is that varying by student count or teacher count? How did y'all determine that?
Yeah, well, so I can't tell you how it started however far back, right? So what we do in the current process is, so right now, and so you know, instructionally it costs a lot more to educate a high school student than an elementary student, okay, for different reasons. But not that elementary is inexpensive either. If you're providing strong supports and intervention for reading math and things, that's additional cost for personnel and materials to do that. But the South Elementary budget is going to be substantially smaller than a high school budget where you have all the student travel and those things.
And the reason I'm asking that is because I've had teachers and parents, and I again volunteered, but they don't have, again, pencil, paper. My wife's been a teacher for 35 years, that sometimes they're going and having to buy pencils and erasers. So my thing is, again, where's the budget and how much?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
mean, I'm just bringing that up.
So
because
I started here last March, and we did a zero-based budget. Every campus leader was asked to give employees a chance to request things, but not assuming, well, I had this much money last year, but if you start at zero, what do you need for your classroom, what do you need for your programming, and so forth. So we did that last year. This year, what we took was last year's budget, or looking ahead to 26, 27. We've taken the current year budget, current year activity, because you have some, and then asking the campuses, are there any unusual expenses? For example, middle school wants some scientific calculators. They're expensive. That's not something you would normally just have extra in your budget for. So that's something we'll need to, whether we use one of these federal funds or our general budget, we can pay for that. Teachers should never do that. I will just say this: a lot of times they don't. Not painting a broad brush net, but I just, as a principal, I had teachers that I would find out they were paying out of their pocket. As a husband of an elementary teacher, I'd ask my wife, why are we buying all this stuff? Why are we doing it? I used to, the old Bailey bookstore, and then later on Mardell, it's like, what are we doing here? In school. But sometimes they want bulletin board material that's above what maybe the campus has available to them, that kind of stuff. They want to decorate the room. And so that might be a little bit different. But our teachers should never, that I'm aware of, have an issue that they can't get dry erase markers, pencils, pens, paper, elementary matte colors, crayons, all those kinds of things. Some of that students bring, and sometimes that's an issue where, they look up and midway through the year, whatever the parents sent at the start of school has kind of been depleted.
So I guess what I'm hearing is it would be up to the leadership on campus level to make sure everybody has what they need. But if the teacher isn't going to leadership and saying, hey, I don't have XYZ, well, then we'll never know.
Well, the communication chain, right?
Right,
So
okay.
what I hope is happening is that if a teacher doesn't have something, that they're going to an administrator and saying,
Right.
hey, can I get help with this? I'm out of this. I had families that didn't participate or bring this or do that. And then the hope is the campus administrator looks and says, yeah, we've got some money here, we can do this. Do they feel, are they coming and saying, well, Scott gets a reputation of being the no guy, so do they ask Scott and say, hey, I know budget's tight, but we don't have these things.
Right.
And I've tried to cover for the, my question is always going to be, well, let's look at your budget. We can move this. And we've had instances where some people know that they can, principals know that they can move money from this to this without any type of, they just need to let you know to do it.
There's the chain to ask.
Right, but I do think it's important that, especially when you've got turnover, teachers coming in, new principals, so on, change of business office, that the communication stay in there. I think sometimes people just find it easier to just stay in their silo and do those things. And, we want to create a culture where they don't feel hammered if they ask.
Right.
Well, maybe that's it, because I had a group of teachers tell me recently, one, my pencil sharpener broke and I haven't been able to get one. One, I have no pencils. I was like, I will go buy them for you.
Yeah.
They're like, it's already the end of the year. But I don't think they feel comfortable. They don't have that.
I think that's something we can talk to the leader.
I
You
can take care of
have
that. Well, that's what I'm saying. I think
conversations with-
maybe they need to make sure that they feel comfortable to go ask for those things.
It just, it makes me feel bad when I see, and I know it's common, and I think, some of the teachers are asking for different things that probably aren't covered, but when, you see on Facebook that they're like, hey, we're starting up, if anybody wants to donate anything, I always like to go look at that list because I'm like, okay, pencils, basic things should never.
Yeah.
You should never want that. It should, any extras, okay, beanbag, chairs, I get all that. But the basics, no.
I know that each one of the, and I don't know how the principals are relaying it, and sorry I'm overstepping Scott, but it's kind of as a campus level. Each teacher gets $350. It's like at the beginning, and then whatever's left, I know that they start dividing up months, so they get to pick out like whatever supplies they want with that $350. And then there's in the office, the principals usually keep a few storage rooms full of pencils, erasers, paper, folders, crayons, scissors. There's huge storage rooms for them to go get that also. So they get that $350 on top of having access to all that, because we see it on there too, and we're like, please don't do that, because it looks like we're not providing you with what you need.
Yeah.
So I don't know how the principals are relaying it to the teachers, so that might be a conversation we need to have with them. But I do know that each teacher gets that amount of money, because even though, even special ed, ours get a lot more money. So I have to tell them that money is for their IEP, your campus budget is for pencils, papers, stuff like that. And so that's what each teacher's at least supposed to get. And
I guess it depends on what they're getting with their budget to begin with.
That's kind of what I was getting at. And so I don't know what they're using, but we have had meetings with the principals of I think it got very popular to do an Amazon wish list.
Yes,
for teachers.
yes, there you go. That's where I was getting. That's what it is.
That's
Okay.
That's what I come up with. And so we did talk to teachers and say, hey, if you want to do it for certain things, that we don't provide, that's great. If there's something specific you're wanting to do, for your kids, and there's something I want this certain book for my kids that I can sign for them, they can take it to each teacher from then on. Things like that, yes. But supplies, we ask them not to do that because we provide it for them. So I hope that helps a little bit on that. But we can meet with the principals and let them know, please make sure that your teachers you're talking to your teachers and letting them know they have this amount of money.
Did they get the 350 this year since we went with a zero-based budget?
I
do not know, because I
know South did because they called me.
Mhm.
I'm not sure on the other ones. South is the only one that had called because we had a change of leadership.
Mhm.
So they called. So actually, like I said, our special ed classes get a whole lot more. So they were asking, do we still give the 350 to our special ed teachers? I was like, absolutely. You have to give them what every other teacher gets.
Yeah.
So I don't want to talk for the other campuses, but I know for sure South did.
but that's a good.
I'm just, and it
point to
wasn't
talk
South,
about. You
so
have so
that's
much-
why I'm
Oh, maybe
curious.
that's why I was like, I don't know about the other ones.
Yeah.
I just know that they did because there was a change of leadership, and she did. She's like, please tell me how this works.
Yeah.
But we will address it with the principals, make sure everybody is all on the same page.
We always have supply. Like, so what are they doing?
Yeah.
You know, there's always a lot of
Yeah.
We see
supplies
it on
listed
there
here
too.
that
Like,
we're
we see
paying
their
for, so.
Amazon, and I'm like, it just doesn't look good, you know.
Yeah.
So
You know, there could be a question too, like when does the supply cabinet get low, right? And when I run out of that, have I been previously told that, like, hey, you got to make that last, or I go down there and then we're out, you know? So are we doing? Are our office staff aware of that too, and what items, so that we're not telling them, hey, we're not ordering again yet, and, you know, and so now they're going a month without it or something because we haven't placed a fill-in order. So I think there's some processes there that can go with the APs and whoever. So I apologize. I know we kind of got in a good discussion there, but so you do see an unusual, for me who sees this all the time, an unusual amount of supplies in May, but it's because we're getting a head start for next year, getting the stock in and established because we start school under this budget. So.
Can I ask one more question?
Yes, sir. Okay.
So you're saying what you just said, you're ordering supply for the school year, right? You just said that?
Yes, sir.
Right. So is somebody monitoring that? Because again, is that for a whole 12 months or is
No,
that
sir.
for
No,
6 months?
No. This is, I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt you. And I don't remember the calendar date, but employees report right at the end of July, school starts, say August 8th, okay? So you've got 2.5, 3 weeks of school, and the new fiscal year starts September 1st. There's a little bit of a lag. I think it was better last year from what I heard as far as how long it takes us to get the new budget available where they can get in there and start putting requisitions in. So what we're telling them to do is get a good month's worth of supplies to get your school year started. So, because it's got to get you through all of August. At the end of school year, as we're hitting May, you don't have enough in your supply cabinets and in your classroom to cover May and all of August and the first week of September. So we're telling them, right now, we know we have this money available. Get with your teachers, find out what they need, go ahead and get that order in, and that's supposed to get them in there. And then we'll see a big order in September where they're trying to get like a whole semester worth of stuff. Yeah, good question. But yeah, what they're trying to do is get August and early September covered.
What do you lease on our copiers with? What's our leasing?
Yeah, so this is we're wrapping up the first year of a lease. It's with Conica. It's a direct lease with them. We went out for proposals last year. And actually, I think when we run the end of the year report, we'll see a substantial savings. Our previous copier lease was with Tascosa. And so those old lease setups, you had like the copier itself, and as a part of that copier, you had X number of black copies. It might be unlimited, it might be 100,000, or whatever. And then you paid a certain contracted price per color page. The difficulty with that type of contract is, and these guys that have been on the board a while, I can attest to those overages that we got billed. So they would, ever so often, they'd say, hey, you're at this many prints, you used up your contract amount for these months, plus you owe this amount of money. Some companies do it by semester, some will do it all in the summer, and then all of a sudden you get a big bill. You're already paying that monthly copier fee, and now you've got a big bill for overages, and it can be in the thousands of dollars, especially at the elementary. They seem to run a lot of stuff. So with this new contract, it was the best rate, and we pay no overages. It's every copy we make. We buy our own paper, but that's with any copier.
We'll just change the whole contract at the home at the hospital.
Yes.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of money.
Very, very competitive. We're really pleased with them. They're really good. And then again, you don't see this here, but next month, when you look at your utility bills, which it's going to be an increase because of the summer with electric, HVAC running and that kind of stuff. But you're also getting June as your first month at the new rate. Other than that, I don't have any big outliers there. All the other numbers are fairly normal. One of the recommendations I'll have is looking at what we spend on facility rental, our cost to rent facilities, and our cost to host playoff games, to incorporate that into the budget so it's not running in the red all year. Mm-hmm. So we have it budgeted in there. And also give administration the information they need if there's a recommendation to change those fees. That's all I have, unless you have other questions.
This supplies for construction,
What
foaming,
page?
page 12, I guess.
Oh yeah, I got
It's in Amazon, I guess, and it's just 8 cents away from 4,000. So
Okay.
didn't know what type of supplies would that be?
I can look at the code and tell you. Can you tell me the date?
May 28th.
All right. Let me flip to that page.
Where's it at?
Please drop.
It's the very back.
May 28th.
It's been $999.
Okay, here we go. I'd have to pull that to know exactly what that is. I see on the invoice description that it's for high school math. It is in the high school code. So I don't remember that one specifically. I see that much spent in math. I tend to think calculus.
I thought it was
But I can pull
Well,
it.
just because it's Amazon invoices, that's what
Almost
it's for.
Well,
I'm thinking calculators.
You can't put everything that's on there, so it may be more than just math.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can pull it and get it, and I'll have what all was ordered on it. If it's math only, it would have to be calculators, but it's possible that they just put the first teacher on the description, and then
Gotcha.
that's all we're seeing. We did get the speakers fixed. I was not able to attend a graduation. I went to my niece's graduation. Was the sound noticeably different?
It was good. I mean,
I don't know about different, but it was good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's been good on all the events I've been at.
well, last year it wasn't the greatest. I think Darla purchased like maybe half. I don't know. They fixed it. They did good.
Yeah.
They sounded really good.
So, yeah, we got those fixed. The music box came out, and Albert's guys tag team the installation. But anyway, I just saw that on the list, that $6,900. But we replaced a couple of speakers and got it. Should be in good shape if we can keep somebody from getting up there and jamming and blowing them out.
Yep.
Okay.
You're good. All right. Thanksgiving.
Oh, did you want to we'll have to come back to that. The discussion of potential sale of the T-Mobile broadband.
Yeah, I can do that now, or we can come
Well,
back
we
to it.
have executive
Oh,
session in 5 minutes. So do you want to go to executive session with the attorney and then come back out?
Yep.
Okay.
We will now go into executive session. It is 6:55. Okay, are we ready?
I didn't know you graduated from three.
Okay, we are now back from executive session. It is 8:08.
Smell.
Okay, and now we're going to,
Back to Scott.
back to Scott, yep. T-Mobile, broadband,
Well,
where we're,
I would love to give you a better explanation than one I got. But someone from T-Mobile reached out back in the fall, and it kind of put them off because initially I didn't think it was a very good, it wasn't something I would recommend to the district. So years ago, the FCC gave districts, I may not be using the technical terms, but they gave them airspace, bandwidth, right? At a certain level. I think this is a, I don't know if this is a, what hertz level this is, but so that's, the district owns that, and we're in the middle of a 30-year lease with T-Mobile. They're leasing that from us and using it for their purposes. And we get $300 a month. So when they reached out, I don't remember the number, but it was, I calculated on how many, and I didn't know anything about it. So the guy had to tell me, hey, you have this program, this is what it is, this is how many years you have on the lease, this is how many, we'd like to buy it out from you, just take possession of it. And we'll give you all the money up front, right here. And it was, I don't remember the exact number, but I want to say maybe a third. If you counted up $300 a month times 21 years, we were going to make more money by keeping the lease long term than we would getting a flat amount of $20,000. So, but he reached out again, and the other thing, and so I revisited this with Dr. Avey this spring, and they want the district to do an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, so that whatever discussion or negotiation takes place on the potential sale of that space or bandwidth would not be disclosed. And so at that point we said, well, we're not comfortable with that because we're trying to bind our board to not be able, and we're a public entity. We try to be transparent with the actions of the district. So we are going to go through the expense of, and correct me if this isn't accurate to our conversation, but we're going to go through the expense of having our attorneys review an NDA and then have information that we can't later share for something that doesn't on the surface sound like a very good deal anyway, certainly not lucrative. So I told the guy that. He said, look, we can give you a price. I just can't put it to you in paper without some sort of agreement with the district. It doesn't have to be an NDA, but an agreement. But if you want an actual negotiation, all this kind of stuff requires that. So I've already been told that we're not interested in doing a non-disclosure. So at that point, he gave me a quote of around $60,000 to sell this. Now, I do want to do a second verification with someone other than the representative from T-Mobile, but my understanding is there's nothing we can do with this. Like, we could continue to lease it, but it's not like we could set up a tower and start using this signal or bandwidth. It's a certain frequency that we own the rights to. It's more valuable today than it will be 2 years from now because you see them saying, we're going to 5G, we're going to this next thing. So each time they go up, the value of the level that we own this space in will continue to, it won't just be worthless, but it won't be worth as much to them as the technology advances and they go to higher frequencies. So I can get more descriptive language for that, but I wanted to fill you guys out from that. If it's true that there's nothing you can do with it but lease it for the next 20 years at $300 a month, then I think it's a worthwhile conversation to say, do we want to continue to just trickle along with that, or do we want to take a lump payment of $60,000-ish and not look back? So that's a really layman's term in doing that. I know I talked with Darla. She talked with Keith Emfinger, trying to get the history of how far this thing went back. So really, I'm at the point it would be just verifying that this capability that we're leasing to T-Mobile, other than leasing it, is there anything to do? I think initially there was this idea that like we own some sort of airspace that we could potentially have our own ability to do something with it, and I don't think that's the case. I think this is going to be valuable to, and I believe the original agreement was with Spectrum. T-Mobile bought out Spectrum. So this is something that's going to be valuable to T-Mobile. 20-something years from now, it'd be valuable. But I mean, according to him, it's that far down the road. It's probably not. And that may be why they're wanting to buy it out, because they want to get full use of it while they can. But are you interested in finding out a more concrete number? Certainly we need a better explanation of exactly what it is we're talking about. I'm happy to get that, something in writing that y'all can review, but just kind of wanted your idea, if you think that's worth pursuing and doing that. I think either way it would require board approval. There's not something Dr. Edgar and I would take action on. It'd be up to you guys to approve. Just want some direction on, is that something that sounds promising and you kind of lean toward trying to do that, or do I just need to tell him we're not interested and we're going to keep what we had?
I'd get information.
I think we need to
Get a second opinion.
Yeah.
So the number could be more.
Yes, but I don't know how much more. I think we're up to 60. I think anything beyond that would probably be going back to the NDA, and so then it's like, without knowing what are we talking about? If they come back with we do an NDA and then they offer 65, it may not have been worth the trouble to do that. But I'm happy to help steer the conversation, do as much as I can with Taj, keep Dr. Navy in the loop. So if it goes beyond my time here, that hurts a little.
I agree. Okay. I think let's look into it.
Okay. But he's called me since, but we haven't had a meeting to fill you all out. So thank you.
Okay, moving on. We talked already a little bit about SROs, and we have the vehicles where we have to send the team to go pick them up. I know that Albert has that information, or was sent the same information, and so we'll just figure out when we're going to send a team to go pick up the vehicles.
Okay.
So they are ready. They are no longer being delivered.
Where are they at anyway?
I'm sorry.
Where are they at?
They physically, where are they at? Do you know the physical address where they're
No,
at?
but I mean like.
They're in Lubbock.
They're-
Oh,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
I thought further like.
No, we just have to like.
The vehicles were purchased from Silsbee Ford in Silsbee, Texas, but you have a third party, is all this through contracts, but that does all the outfitting, the trim work, the putting in the customization for the officer vehicle. So
It's been so long.
Dana Supplies, who actually does that.
It's been so long, do we dare ask what your models they are?
They're the same year model we bought, which is the 25s or 26s, because we bought them before 26.
3 and 2.
Yeah.
They're the same year model, but yeah, I believe they're 26.
26?
How long has it been, guys?
I'll double
Been a
check.
long
It's
time.
been a
It's been 2 years. That's
It was
what
2
we
years when we
saying.
started the discussion, then it took like 6
No,
months
just-
before we decided.
Yeah.
About a
Yes,
year
about
and
a
a
year, a
half.
little over a year.
I was here when you finally voted for it. So
Yeah.
But you weren't here at the beginning of the discussion, right?
No,
That's
Discussion.
what I'm
We've been
saying.
discussing it
That's
for a
what
while
I'm
already.
saying. It's been a while. They're somewhere.
But once they get here, we'll text you. You guys can all go to the bus barn and look at the
Yeah, I
beautiful
want to go
new
see
vehicles.
them. Yeah, I want
Yes.
to drive one.
Well, not-
There you go. Okay, compensation plan. So we went over that in the budget workshop, and so I'll hash out some more of the details specific to the compensation plan, just to make sure it's out there. So we did a comprehensive analysis of where everybody is with the positions we absorbed, and used the 24-25 TASB salary study that was performed and conducted on behalf of the district last year, proposed to the board. And that way it gets everybody into the appropriate pay grades and pay ranges. And so when you take the actual current salary of the people who are returning to our district, only out of our maintenance and operations budget, that's what you will see on that first sheet that has been provided to you. So the cost to get everybody, professional, clerical, auxiliary, to the minimum of their pay grades, you'll see that first column there. To get them to about approximately 90% of market, now remember this is the 24-25 market, and we're going in the 26-27, so it will be 2 years outdated. The number is 294, but for specific adjustments to make sure that everybody is getting at least a 2%, because there were some people in our system that were over the midpoint. It still would allow for a 2% increase, but then also make sure we had a couple of other specific adjustments to reflect salary adjustments for people. It would be that gold column. To get them to 95% of market, it would be that blue column that you see there. So that is the increase only for if we took the salaries right now and rolled them forward and gave the increase to either 92 or 95% of market, it would be what you see in those two columns. Cost to midpoint, which is not recommended because we have some new employees. We have it still on there. Some people are not at midpoint. Some people are over midpoint. So TASB really needs to do a comprehensive analysis this upcoming fall to make sure we have all of the people in the appropriate categories, again, because we've done hiring and things since this was presented, and then make sure that we have everybody where they need to be. So it would take another analysis in the fall, be bringing that stuff to you in the early spring, so that hopefully you would know what those costs are in the spring. So it would be my recommendation to get the district, if we have the ability to move the current employees that are returning to the 95% of market. The federally funded positions are pulled out on the bottom. That is those positions that we talked about earlier with the grants. This does not include our food services, but the food services also has their specific, if you go to a 92%, it is the $27,000. If you get them to, I didn't add that on here, so let me get that for you. If you get them to the 95% of market for food service, it is, it goes from, well, yeah, there's some other adjustments that have to go in here. So it would, I don't know what it'd be another around $12,000 to $13,000 more to get them to 95% of market. So that's what you see here. This would give the most underserved employees that we underpaid employees, I should say, people in our system are the professional, clerical, and auxiliary, and many people are well below the minimum, and so we need to make adjustments to get everybody to that, should this be the direction the board wants to go. And that would give, if you go into the professional adjustments, it would give anywhere from a 2 to 13%, depending on specific adjustments. We have a few of those that are hard to fill positions that we wanted to put those specifically at midpoint. We have some clerical para adjustments. Most of them would be at the 92 to 95%, depending. If you did the 92%, it would be up to a 20%. If you went up to the 95, I think it takes it up to 26%, depending on the specific people within pay categories. Auxiliary, again, anywhere from a 2 to a 26%, and can be a little bit over 30% if you go up to the 95%. And that's just the increase. Now, again, that's not to midpoint. It's just an increase to get them caught up somewhat. And then teachers and instructional facilitators reflects a 2% of midpoint for all teachers. Our teachers are the only category that are truly like within market, but because most of the districts are increasing at anywhere from a 1 to 4% across the state, you want to make sure that we're staying consistent and keeping that pay category. We have some areas at the upper end of the threshold that are a little bit lagging, and we can talk about making adjustments to those once we get the comprehensive analysis done. But also it includes the 3+ would still receive the substantial increase last year, and they're already closely aligned to market. This does not reflect an adjustment for the food services, as I said earlier. That's in its own fund. We have a pretty healthy fund balance in food service, so we can handle the adjustment there without it, and it doesn't impact our maintenance and operations budget. And this is, again, only for those staff that we have returning. We have absorbed approximately 40. We can know exactly specifically how many positions that is once we get everything rolled over. Cost savings to the current budget is for this year when we did the hiring freeze when I came in January has been approximately just shy of $700,000 salary only. When you add benefits on top of that, it's about 20-ish% on top of that too, Scott?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the total cost savings for the absorbed positions for the 26-27 budget is projected to be around the $1.5 million mark. So that does not take into account these adjustments here. So if let's just say it came in at 1.5 million when we do the run on it, and you decide to go to 95% of market, it would be still $1 million savings, because that 95 to market is $502,000. So it would reduce that savings from 1.5 to 1 million. And then the federally funded positions, it also reflects an increase for them, but that is going to come out of federal funds for all of those different federally funded positions that you see. All right, so any questions about that? We have a board meeting reserved, special board meeting reserved for Thursday, sorry. And then that way that'll give us the opportunity to get the template filled in for the projected revenue and expenditures for what we see at this point right now with the PEEM summer submission. So
we're not doing nothing on that tonight, right?
okay. Do you want to do that
Until Thursday?
on Thursday?
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah,
Oh,
because then they'll bring us more information on
I think Scott's supposed to be with them. Some other stuff.
the template.
Yes, so we have that. We already have that scheduled and posted.
We'll know by Thursday
We'll
what
know-
the 26, 27 budget's going to look like. Is that what you're telling me?
Preliminarily, yes, but it'll still, we'll still
Long as-
continue to be working on it.
As long as those numbers are pretty close.
I mean,
Because I don't
yeah,
particularly want to
I
make
hear
a
you.
$500,000 decision based on
I hear you.
a guess.
Scott?
Oh, I got a good number.
He's the CFO. So,
Well, he's the CFO, but you're the boss.
I hear
Well,
you.
Let's remember that.
Yeah. So, okay, so that's that. And then we also, the other piece of that too is on the compensation plan is the stipends. So I'm going to let Coach Smallwood talk about his realignment for athletics and talk about the stipends that he has listed out here. And then we'll talk about the other stipends for the district.
Were you able to, did we get to?
I did. I printed it all off right here. I couldn't print it, but she was able to print
We
it.
didn't get this one as well.
We got this one.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I was just saying, because
welcome to get the.
I can throw it there.
Do you want me to make
I'm
more
all
copies?
right. I don't need this. But anyways, so
Everybody has copies.
It looks
Yeah,
like
I got
this. Everybody got one? Oh, wait. Oh.
I don't think
This
I
is
have
the one we
This-
attached
this
to
one,
board
right?
book.
Okay.
Is it that one?
No, I don't have that.
I don't have that either.
Okay.
Well, you have it.
Oh, I have it?
Here.
so I saw
What
it.
is it?
I don't need
Ernest, do you have it?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have it.
I can pull it up.
I got this one.
I don't. You'll
Oh,
have
okay.
it.
Is it purple?
Okay.
I can throw it up. I got my computer too. If I need to throw it up
Do you have an extra copy, Dr. Reed?
on the screen.
Right here, this one.
Let me go make
Oh,
copies.
she'll go make copies. There you go. Sorry.
Would you like me to wait?
Yes, please.
I'm gonna get the podium. Are you good with the
I'm good without it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
fine. It's all good.
Okay.
Let me set this down. We'll move furniture around. We'll be all right.
If you want to get started, they have it. We'll just
Okay.
follow, we'll
All right.
follow along.
All right. Well, the athletics. So when I came in, the athletic stipends and coaching staff obviously is kind of one of the first things I looked at. Just who do we have? Where do we have them? What's their roles, responsibilities, and all that. So really, the whole purpose of this isn't. It's just a redistribution of stipends and coaching responsibilities that will come on the back end of this. It's not an elimination of coaches as far as like people and positions go, but just a leveling for staffing for both boys and girls athletics to fulfill responsibilities for which compensation is being provided, and improving chain of command and representation across athletics. That way we can kind of bridge what was expressed to be maybe a little bit of a gap between our boys and girls programs. So that first chart there really is currently what we have when I walked in the door, what I was given as far as coaches in each sport, and then what's filled and what's open as far as what we have had previously with coaches leaving, some vacancies being there versus being filled positions. The things that kind of stood out to me right away was looking at it was, like high school boys and girls basketball boys only had 3 coaches, girls had 4. Right, so there's a little bit of an inequity there. Track, boys had 5, girls had 4. Volleyball, we had 5 high school stipends being handed out, 4 middle school stipends being handed out in volleyball specifically, as opposed to in the fall sports with our boys' middle school athletics, we only were handing out 1 middle school athletics stipend for football, and then those other spots were being just supplemented with high school coaches that are already receiving another stipend. So just some holes there. Powerlifting was another one to me that we had 3 coaches being awarded a stipend for powerlifting that I feel like is maybe a little bit much. I think just on my end with that, it's when I was coaching powerlifting at Odessa High, we had 75 kids in the program and only 2 coaches, and it operated just fine. So looking at all that, for me, it's just balancing it out, between all of our sports, making sure that we have coaches where we need them to serve our kids in the best and most efficient way to have success. So what I was looking at, and part of this kind of redistribution, if you will, is taking basically stipends being cut. So what's changing? 2 high school volleyball positions, 1 head coach powerlifting, a restructuring of our middle school coordinators, 1 high school boys track. There was an assistant cross country that I came to be was kind of a phantom one. It didn't show up on a sheet, but it showed up on a coaching staff list. And then a girls basketball position at the high school. Really all that to say is it's not necessarily a cutting of them, it's just redistributing those money into other roles, which then I get into adding a girls high school and middle school coordinator. There would be another boys coach added on the high school side, and then middle school adding head coaches to the middle school. And that's where I was talking about that middle school coordinator stipend being restructured, where each sport, because as it stands, at the middle school, all coaches are receiving the same stipend, whether they're the head coach or not. So then having an actual designated head coach for each sport at the middle school level, which with that and girls coordinator for high school and middle school just improves our chain of command as far as that goes. So that last one there, that last chart there is kind of the numbers picture of coaches, which you can see is a lot more leveled out across the board that I think will be able to better serve our teams and our programs. Really at the end of the day, rather than having stipends just being awarded where those roles aren't necessarily being fulfilled, but having positions that are being compensated for the work that they're doing, right?
What do you mean by stipends awarded without them being fulfilled? How do we know they weren't doing it?
Just in talking to the coaches, like we had, without being too specific on it, it's like coaches being awarded a high school stipend but are coaching at the middle school. So there is a difference in what those pays look like, because that's not fair to our other middle school coaches who are doing the same job but not making the same money. So it's just a balance, clean it up, balance it out, and both financially and from a staffing standpoint too for each sport. So I guess this sheet would be kind of the more number picture of what that looks like. This I used almost the exact same model of what I was given. So there's really, the only really changes as far as dollar amounts would go would be at the middle school level, where increasing those head coaching positions for $1,500 a piece to separate the head coach and assistant coach role at the middle school. And then the other one is the girls coordinator position, which would serve both the high school and the middle school girls side of athletics as well. So those are really the only increases, but all that money is actually just coming from these other stipends being redistributed. It's not any more money or anything of that nature. It actually ends up being about.
But we're taking from some of them are losing, right? Losing stipends?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, ideally what it ends up being, and this is the other side of it too, is not have, because I have coaches that currently were receiving 4 or 5 stipends, supposedly. So to prevent burnout, putting everybody in at least 2 sports, starting with our head coaches, trying to get them to 2 sports, and then anybody that's not a major sport head coach, they may trickle over into 3. Just with small numbers, that's what you're going to have. But ideally, especially on the boys' side, you would see it on the boys' side because with the numbers we have, them all servicing the middle schools as well. That's where a lot of their third sports are coming from, is servicing that middle school role. So.
Did we have a lot of coaches that we took stipends away from? Like, was there just a lot of them that you had to have a conversation with?
I have not had those conversations specifically with them yet.
Okay.
I wanted to wait to see kind of what we want to do. I think this is one of those that it's more of a give us a clearer picture of what we have,
right.
and then also which then going forward, with staffing issues, gives us a clear picture. But there was not, I think it's not even as much. I don't want to say this. Of losing stipends as it's being just redistributed.
Okay.
There may be.
So their duties probably will change
Duties
too,
are
right?
changing.
Because they're not still doing the same duties and having less pay. It's just you're distributing also those duties to others that should.
Yeah, and there may be a few coaches that lose a stipend overall. So it would be a shortage of money for a couple, but they're going to stay within. They're still going to have that other sport. We're not talking $10,000 cuts for people.
Okay.
It might be the 2,000 or 3,000 of the assistant role. Nobody's losing a head coaching role except for the one powerlifting, but that's just an even trade movement. It's the same. It ends up being the same money.
Because you're moving them somewhere else, so they're getting it.
They're getting it
here,
from
they're
another
just
spot.
taking it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is some of them going to be losing money?
That's what but you haven't had any conversations with
No.
anybody yet.
Not explicitly, no.
But aren't those conversations supposed to be had?
That's what he said. He wanted to wait to see.
Well, what's the drop?
Well, stipends are, yeah.
To let them matter. I mean, because
If it's
correct me if I'm wrong,
substantial.
but my understanding is, you start changing your pay, you got to do it
Within 45 days.
within 45 days.
Sure.
Give them opportunity to move on if they want to move on.
Right.
Are
But
we within that window?
we are within that window this week, which is another reason we need this a salary study. The board can adopt the stipends separate from
This is right here is why stipends need to be looked at in April and May, and not June 23rd. Or
Yeah,
June
but we didn't
24th.
get it, Mike.
Yeah.
It's been this way for.
Yeah,
Well,
and stipends.
General
Yeah,
stipends
that's-
change from year to year for employees all across all districts because some years your coaches change. You need to make shifts.
Well, I
Different
understand- I
directors are
understand
coaching
that,
different
but
things.
What I'm saying is, if you're cutting somebody's pay,
Yeah.
you've got to do it within that 45-day window.
Right.
So that way, if they
Yeah.
don't want to work for that, then they've got time to go find another job.
Okay, but I'll chime on that. But the stipends are what, like 1,500, 2,000?
I mean,
Well, the
depending on the sport.
depending on
Assistant
the-
coach stipends, the highest assistant coach stipend is a football stipend at $5,000. For any other assistant roles, like basketball, baseball, softball, and volleyball, the assistant roles are all $3,000. That's
So it's like
The
what,
higher
300 a month, or I mean, you know, I mean,
But-
I know,
Right.
that's a lot. I mean, I
No,
get
that's
that.
a
So the,
Yeah.
The dollar's the dollar.
right,
Yeah, I
and so teachers are contracted on their teacher contract. Stipends are extra duty, so they get a stipend for doing the other things. So for these particular stipends, or even the other ones on the stipend list, if they are actually doing those, then they would get the stipend for it. But stipends are not considered forever money. They only get those stipends if they are fulfilling the duties of those. And those,
I mean, I understand what
Yeah.
you're saying, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying from a standpoint of being courteous to our employees.
Mhm.
If we're going to cut their pay, they need to be told in a timely manner.
sure, within that 45-day window, yes.
Which
Yeah,
one?
yes,
We
that-
still
Yes,
Which
we're-
we still
which is
have
good.
it.
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying, and what you're looking at. What you're saying is, okay, look at where are these stipends? What are you doing? Are you there doing
Yeah.
it? Because I know, for quick example, middle school was a little different because sometimes we would start a game without a coach because the coach was at the other gym.
Well.
So I get what you're saying on spacing them out,
Yeah.
and that goes along with the stipend. So you're going to have to move some people around. I understand what you're saying now.
yes, ma'am.
And some of those stipends were just awarded, you know, so.
And
now
they
keep saying
and they were.
They've got to work for them now, so.
So,
I just want to be sure that we do.
Yeah. Yeah, and this week is that week, and which is why it's very important that we get this piece across the finish line if you guys want to do that. Plus, it allows Coach, you know, as a new AD, to be able to align his program with the vision and mission of what he's trying to accomplish athletically, systems as a whole, middle school through high school, girls and boys, and making sure that he has the right people in the right spots.
and it's a good thing for you to know since you're new to our district that we take care of our people,
Mhm.
and that those are the questions that we have. We want to make sure that everybody has enough time to know, you know, I mean, if they got awarded 5 or 6 stipends, that's not 100% their fault. That's leadership's fault.
Yep.
So when it gets taken away, that's
That's
messing
prior.
with somebody's livelihood, which isn't your issue.
Right.
And if you didn't do it,
But that's my issue.
But
Like
it's
say you have a
still-
coach that's been here 10 years and they had these 3 or 4 stipends, and now you come in brand new and take them away. I can see how that would encourage them that's been here 10 years forever want to leave.
How many coaches are, I guess,
But that's just
like
showing.
one stipend, right? Or how many coaches are having all of them like taken away from them?
Nobody's having
Okay.
all of everything taken away.
But that's just showing accountability.
Right.
So
Yeah, yeah.
he's
Right.
proving now people are going to be accountable.
yes.
So you're saying you're going to
Sheriff in
do
town.
3
Yes.
of these. Okay, you can get your stipend, but if you're not there, you're not going to get it. I
But you're
mean,
gonna earn it.
It's
Yeah,
going to earn it. I mean,
100%,
so
yeah.
again,
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's
And there are some that
showing
we don't
accountability.
honestly need, like he pointed out, and then some that we do need to add
Yeah.
so that we have
So
consistency.
the other side to that, though, like, which this is where I think it does get confusing, is like football, for example. Let's just use football. Like, I'm not going to give somebody who, like our offensive coordinator, for example, he's getting his offensive coordinator stipend, but he's still going to be helping at the middle school. He's not going to pick up that middle school stipend. You know what I mean? So we're not going to double pay him in
Yeah.
football. And
No,
same
I
thing
get it,
across
yeah.
the board. Because the expectation is that we have
We're a
vertical
district.
alignment all the way through. All of our coaches are going to help the whole program in those sports,
Because
respectively.
in reality, like for us, they're either over here for a couple hours,
Yes,
or
and
they're
that's
all together in the same place.
Yeah.
So I 100%.
Right,
Okay. Okay.
does that make sense?
Yes.
Like,
Okay.
it's kind
I'm
of
trying to,
like
I'm-
football. We
yeah.
and it's the same across the board. Like we have our high school staff, and ideally, what I want to get built
Yeah.
is a middle school staff. But everybody's still going to be a part of. It's one program, right? So
Yes.
you're all
Yeah.
football coaches. It's just that's your primary assignment. Right.
Well, and I appreciate you, I guess we're asking all the questions because this had never been presented to us and explained. So that's why we're asking all the questions, because that is never, I've never seen this.
Stipends are never even talked about.
So I appreciate you
Well,
wanting
and
to break it down.
that's where I think there's been a lot of confusion. I mean, even for me, walking, I was like, what am I looking at? You know, when I started breaking it down, I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
what am I looking at here?
Yeah.
So that was part of it.
So you're saying like some of the high school coaches are gonna go to the middle school
Yeah.
and help, and I'm
I mean,
I'm
it's,
glad about that.
But
because
see, they're there all together half the time
Yeah.
because I'm sure now they might be wherever you want them, but they're all there. So I get what you're saying. Like they're getting okay.
that's kind of that's the idea.
Yeah.
And on this particular list, that bottom section that says other, that is not accurate. So I'm just
Yeah,
gonna,
that was off of
that-
was off the other ones.
that's
we
not
don't have to
included in
use
what
that.
he's talking about, because all of that is on this other stipend list. It's just that bottom section
Yeah.
is not. He's talking only about athletic stipends.
Athletics specifically. I threw that other section on just because it was on the previous one I had, but
But that's not accurate
you know what I
information.
mean. I didn't want to leave it off just in case.
Yeah.
Are y'all hiring band directors?
Yep.
So. Any other questions, I guess, on that?
So if at a minimum, it would be my recommendation for the board to at least approve the stipends tonight when we're done, so that if he is going to have conversations with people about shifting positions and roles and things, he can have that this week.
Because those need to happen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pretty quick.
Do y'all have any other questions or clarifying questions or anything that y'all want to think of?
Good. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for putting this together. Appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
No problem.
And I thought Coach Ross would be here tonight, but did any of you get an opportunity to meet with him yet? Okay. Well, we will make sure he is at the next board meeting. So I apologize that he is not here. And then the DEC local, that is the email that we received from Holly, so we'll talk about that some more. The data overview, we are waiting for the release of the actual cut scores for science. Once we have that, we will be able to predict what we think we're going to fall at as far as our accountability rating. So as soon as we get that done, you guys have all the other information that we've been getting thus far. We did have some automatic scores that were resubmitted, and we also resubmitted one ourselves for a rescore. So we'll see most of the ones, a large number of the ones that were automatically selected to rescore received increased scores. So that's good. And so I don't have the update. We're waiting for the one that we submitted so that we can give you a compilation of all of it together. Legislative update. I don't have anything legislatively to update you on, but we do need to talk about local policy update 127, BJCF, CAADC, DHDP, DPA, DPB, EHAD, EHBB, EFF, and FOD. So that was attached to board book. It is
Can you say that one more time?
Yes, it is a very large compilation. It is the legal update and how it pertains to the red lines, and just we're all attached to board book. And so that is something that we'll need to talk about approving. It's legal. And so that's something we will need. Do you guys have any questions on that particular update? Okay. All right. So at this point, you guys can move into action items for the things listed, and we can go back into executive, or we can do what you want to do.
We'll go back into executive session and we'll do these when we come back.
Okay.
We will now go back into executive session. It is 8:47. And Dr. A.B., we will call you back there. Okay. We are now back from executive session. It is 12:18. We will now go into the board action items. Deliberation and possible action to approve the minutes of May 28th of 2026. Special meeting minutes for June 16th of 2026.
I'll make a motion we approve as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
sorry, motion Ernest, second Melissa. Sorry, she's not here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, 5. Oh, I need to write the time that
We came back into.
Kevin, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you need to put the
Hold
time
on back.
keeper
What
there.
time was it?
12:17.
45
It was
maybe.
12:17 when we came back.
17, and then Kevin left at
Like 12. Or maybe like 11:45-ish.
Yeah.
Let's see that.
okay. Okay, sorry.
Deliberation and possible action to approve the financial report.
I make the motion.
I move to approve as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Deliberation and possible action to approve the proposed compensation plan, including stipends.
Do you guys want to make any motion on any of the stipend lists? We didn't talk about this stipend list. Did you want to pause on that until
But then it will go against the 45 days.
this one? This week is within the 45 days. We just have to.
I don't think we're wanting to meet on Thursday. I think we're going to just do it in July. So what if we approve the stipend list and then go through discuss the compensation plan in July to give Scott more time?
He'll have it ready by Thursday.
But I think like she's going to be gone, and I don't think I don't.
think I'm.
You won't be here. Okay. So we're going to
Okay.
approve. We're going to approve the
Pause
stipend.
1 second, because I'm going to give you additional information. If it's not approved before July, the July 1 contract employees, they'll have to do either a payroll or a second payroll. I don't know what the implications are for that.
Well, I know we did it last year. Because we didn't approve it in June.
Okay.
I don't know what we did, so maybe you could find that out and figure it, because I think we're just going to go ahead and table the compensation and we'll approve the stipend. Okay, so
And
deliberate.
which stipend? There's 2 different stipend lists. There's the athletic stipends, which
All stipends, I guess. I mean, all
and
stipends.
then these stipends we did not talk about yet.
Can we talk about them Thursday? Or no?
We're not gonna be-
We're not going to meet at all Thursday?
What stipends are those?
Because this was a
This
just in
is
case.
the actual all the other stipends list. So on the athletic stipend list, for some reason he didn't take off the head coach because he is the athletic director / head coach, so that gets taken off. But then the ones at the bottom get crossed off. So it's just basically the team sports, individual co-ed sports, and middle school. And then these were the district stipends for all of the other things that we did not yet talk about. I thought you guys were pausing to do this on Thursday, so we didn't talk about this.
So was that in my packet? I didn't see that one.
It was a 2-sided packet. It has the Lamesa ISD 2026-2027 stipend list.
I have the athletic.
Is there a lot of things changing?
There are basically everything in black stays the same. And then the ones that are in blue were the ones that we were looking at increasing, and the ones in red we needed to have discussion about, either reducing or eliminating. And so, if my notes were basically, if we are going to, and this is why they kind of needed to go together, because the recommendation on the salary, the compensation list, is to roll the support retention staff allotment into the salaries for all of the so to eliminate that. To also roll the ESL stipend in, the interventionist stipends in, the commuter stipends, it's not necessarily rolled into, but because their salary adjustment would be higher than that, it basically eliminates that. Facilities,
Next week, like Monday or Tuesday.
that's outside the 45 days.
Yeah, after Thursday, that's why we couldn't meet. Oh, okay.
So I thought you guys were. I thought we were coming back Thursday. So
I thought so
What
too.
time?
That's why
See,
I was
well,
like,
I
right
thought
now.
this was
What
a
time
just in
Thursday?
case. It would be 6.
Is it always at 6?
Yes.
it's posted for 6. We had to post it last week.
No.
But yes, they're always at 6 on third Thursday every month. So
Put that on the calendar. Third Thursday of the month.
will you have enough?
But sometimes at
I'm
night
leaving
because of
town
the
like early in the morning. I'm not coming back. I know, and that's my thing, because I thought this Thursday's meeting was a just in case.
I'm sorry, I thought I understood.
Well, no, I think when before we went back.
Yeah,
there,
before
she
we went
mentioned-
back there, yes,
Yeah,
but I
that
didn't.
Even the compensation.
Dr. Ray, you tell, what was the red again? The red, what was
Okay,
the
so
red?
the red ones, we have, especially on the critical needs stipends, we have a smattering of different amounts on the stipend list. So we have anywhere from, on the critical needs based on the state classification, those change every year. So those could come off based on what the state says is critical needs, just at any time. So just so y'all know, we don't have control over that. And it hasn't yet been updated. But right now, for this prior year, it was these that were listed. But we had a critical needs stipends amount anywhere ranging from $6,000 to $10,000 for secondary tested math. And then on the district-based critical needs, we have science, secondary, non-tested, and then we have social studies, secondary, non-tested. So
Why is there two different amounts?
because there are two different stipend amounts being paid out. But in social studies, non-tested secondary, that is not technically considered a critical need, so my recommendation would be to remove that. And on the secondary science non-tested, to move that to $2,000. For some reason, we have a $2,000 and a $5,000 amount on there, but to shift it to the $2,000. It does build on science, 6th and 7th grade build on for 8th grade, so it is a critical need. It's different than 6th and 7th grade social studies or any other non-tested social studies. They don't build on each other. Science does build, and so you need that 6th and 7th grade content knowledge in order to be successful in the 8th grade science test. So our recommendation on the critical needs stipend. Well, the first recommendations, if we're talking about the things that we wanted to roll into the salaries, were the support retention allotment, which was partially funded by the state, and the ESL coordinator, interventionist, commuter facilities, and the migrant service, just to eliminate the migrant one completely because we don't have any migrant students and it's a minimal task. So those would be the ones that we would want to roll and or eliminate. Then on the teachers with the critical needs, we wanted to recommend getting all of these on the same level, $6,000 for the critical needs, and non-tested critical needs at $2,000. My understanding is we have some people that are grandfathered in, which is why we have different amounts, and so that's up to the board if you want to keep those grandfathered in people at those higher amounts, or if you want
These
to.
are non-tested?
No, those are tested.
The non-tested critical.
So we have critical needs stipends ranging from $6,000 to $10,000.
Oh my gosh. That is like, oh my gosh. Then
We like to give money
do 'em
away.
Do them all the 2,000.
And so,
I mean,
and then recommend all non-testable critical needs to be set at $2,000. So because we had some at $1,500 and some at $2,000, and then we had secondary science non-tested, some at $5,000, but some at $2,000. So
do it all
it's like
across the board.
inconsistent.
So why not just make them 2,000?
Yeah, so,
That's what
okay.
she's
So,
recommending.
so you're not making complete total changes. It's just adjustments and
Well,
getting
and to
rid
be
of
fair,
some.
like you
It's
said,
adjustments,
across the
but it
board.
To be
will
fair
impact,
across
and
the-
this is what I said, this will impact certain people, and so we need
By
to make,
how much?
well, if they were getting a $5,000 secondary
3,000.
non-tested science and we move it to $2,000, it's going to be a $3,000 impact.
But that's like 3,000.
So is this something that we want to talk about right tonight, or do we want to come back on Thursday?
Makes me no difference. We're here already. Let's get it over with.
Okay. Well, let's discuss it.
And the other option is, until we get the you guys could wait and see. Let's wait until we get the CHASB stipend study on stipends and keep them as is. That's completely up to you, but I would still recommend a couple of adjustments.
But I mean, like some of these that, like, it makes sense of the ones that you're trying to get away.
Well, that's like you said, that's a big difference. Somebody gets 2,000, somebody gets 5,000. But it's
That's
going to be a
not-
big.
yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a big difference to
I mean,
them.
and we did discuss that stipends is, I mean, they're crazy
that's-
across the board.
That's the reason.
And we don't know.
Where we're at.
You have to look at it this way too. We don't know whose these are. If you look at just the position,
I mean, this is
Not
part
knowing
of-
who it goes to, why would you not make science and social studies non-tested the same amount?
Yeah,
No, 100%.
I'm saying without knowing who it is.
yeah, because
Because
this
that's
is-
how it should
and,
be.
and that's how it should be.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
how it should be.
That's how it should be.
Yeah.
I mean, if you now,
No, I agree with
you know
you.
what I'm saying?
Now, the conversations that we'll have and the people that will get called, there's a reason. But on the other hand,
They're making it fair. across the
fairness
board
is
for
what we
everybody.
just talked
Yeah.
about. It's not fair.
And plus, we're still trying to see if we can give them a raise too.
And that's another way, like, so if we're taking it away, we might be able to bring it back in
Some of
salary.
it.
Some
yeah.
of
Well,
it.
for teachers, it's roughly about 1,100 is what the recommendation is on that 2% based on midpoint with their step
Yeah.
increase. So,
Okay.
I mean,
but
we gotta
it's,
start somewhere. I mean, this is
it's up to you guys, however you want to handle that.
Okay, so science and the science and the social studies secondary non-tested. Would y'all be good with 2,000?
I'm good.
I'm good with that.
Well, the secondary non-tested, they don't build on each other. My recommendation is that's actually not a critical needs.
Oh, you want to just
you want to get rid
That
of
would
it. The
be-
red is what you
The
want
red
to
is
get.
for
The
the
red. Oh, okay.
Well, no,
Yeah.
that particular one would be a recommendation to eliminate the secondary social studies non-tested.
yeah, and social studies.
And then if it comes out on the critical needs tested secondary, then we keep that. Just that's based on the state. The
And
state
why
dictates
would
that.
we be? Why were we giving those stipends if they're not tested?
I have no.
She doesn't know she was in here
That's
with
what I'm
us.
saying.
No.
I
Yeah,
mean, they're
we
not
don't know
tested.
why.
Yeah, they're not.
Because we had
tested
extra
so
money
why-
that time, so we just wanted to give it away.
Well, I'm like,
But really, if it's
Yeah.
not a tested subject,
Why are we
why are
doing
we?
it?
So is that like
Yeah.
a made up thing? Secondary
They probably did.
non-tested for $5,000? Like you're going to teach something, and because it's non-tested, we're going to give you $5,000 for it?
That's what we're saying.
I
That's
think that's a way for recruiting also. That's what they were using as a recruiting.
Well, stipends are.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think okay. So what is that going to look like?
But then again,
Are we going to
stipends
lose?
are not
Are we?
guaranteed.
Are we going to lose that?
I mean,
What's the best decision to make? Because I mean, like, okay, that like if somebody says you're taking away my stipends, I could go somewhere else and get that same pay. Are we willing to take those hits?
I mean,
because
we can't be held hostage either.
right.
You know what I mean? Because this is the whole reason we did the salary study. We're doing stipends to see, and if these are the recommendations she's bringing to us, then
Dr.
I
Amy,
think
whenever you recruit, right? How are you recruiting?
specifically, like, are we
Teacher,
talking?
say a teacher.
Yeah.
How are you attracting that teacher to us?
So we're talking about our compensation plan. We're a TIA district. TIA is a big piece of that. So if
TIA
they,
is big.
because our TIA allotment is bigger than most other districts, our calendar is typically less days than other districts. It depends on stipends, what we're looking for. We could say we have critical needs stipends, but most districts do. And those amounts are going to vary by district. I think that you have some areas, like, for example, it's exceptionally difficult. If you look at the life skills, that is an exceptionally difficult position to fill. I don't believe the stipend amount is nearly what it needed to be, so my recommendation was to increase that to $6,000 for the teacher and $4,000 for the TAs working in there, and that would also be for our behavior TAs. And so, and then, your secondary, your tested secondary critical needs areas, that's, that $6,000 stipend is a great stipend, I think, but we have some people who are at different ranges, and so that's what makes it hard, because if they've had it for years, and I don't know what the rationale was for having it back in the day, I don't know if people were told they were going to get it forever either. But stipends stipends are not forever money. They're awarded on an annual basis based on the things that are specified by the board's compensation plan. And so, but I think part of this stipend list is it's hard to say, yeah, we're going to make changes here without knowing if we're doing anything here. And
I feel like we're
so,
gonna do something there, don't y'all?
Yes.
I don't know that we can go to the 500,000, but I mean, I feel like
The 3.
we could do the 3. I mean, but that's just my take. I feel like they're going to get something there, and maybe, I mean, it really doesn't make sense to give a stipend on a non-tested.
It doesn't make sense at all.
But I don't want to take money from people either. But hopefully, we'll
Give them something.
But like Dr. Avy's saying, if she's utilizing this stipend to attract somehow, then I think, again, I'm not saying no to reevaluate the numbers. What I'm saying is the stipend needs to be there at least for attraction, or, I mean, again, I don't know. I mean, just you need somebody to say, you need somebody, let's say you're missing an RSO, that you can move that one and also give you a stipend. I mean, I'm just saying that you'll have more options in moving people, and those people not questioning it, where...
But I think that's where we sort of got into the problem before, because, okay, we're going to give you a stipend here. We're going to, that's why we're where we're at, because that's what administration always did.
Different superintendents had different ways.
Because they could. And
it doesn't need approval.
So that's why we're where we're at, because they just
we're
throwing
trying
them out there
to
like
fix
crazy.
the problem.
And it doesn't need approval.
Yeah.
So we won't really see it. I mean, it doesn't need approval, and she's not
So we
obligated
won't
to
ever
tell
know.
us.
They've just been
We
throwing
won't know
stipends
until
out there for
we won't know until
anybody.
we're here.
On our salary study for the raises and stuff, what do you think about administration? I know some of the administration, they get paid pretty well already. So I was thinking maybe not giving that administration a raise.
The people in leadership.
Yeah, leadership.
Leadership positions.
And give the other ones,
Everybody else
a raise.
Because they've got plenty of money, and to them they might think it's not enough, but when everybody else works just as hard, and they don't get to have that luxury of.
Right, and I hear what you're saying, and you guys are the board. You get to make the decision that you want on the professional pay classification. I'm going to tell you the positions that are in that amount. Your director of operations and transportation, your counselors, your principals, your speech pathologist, your assistant soup, your coordinators of PEEMS, your director of technology, assistant principal, director of athletics, your principals, executive director of curriculum, CFO, social and emotional support staff, as we're keeping 2 of those, your diagnosticians, your speech paths, and your assistant principals, and your director of special ed. So it encompasses that entire classification of people. They all fall in that professional range. So I will tell you, as far as they're in that classification, we have 4 positions that are not even to the minimum of the 2024 pay grade. And there are only 2 people in all of those that I named that are at midpoint. Because these were the pay ranges that were anywhere from 5 to, I think, 25% below market. So they're very similar market wise, based like the clerical and auxiliary staff.
And I think we should give everybody something, even if you did a different percentage. Like I said, like that group, maybe they get 1%.
Yeah, maybe.
And then the others get.
Well, I'm not against it.
Because
I mean,
at the end of the day, we don't have to tell them what the percentage
Yeah.
was. We can just say we gave raises, and nobody's gonna know. I mean, unless y'all tell them, but I mean, because we've done that in the past. We've done that in the past where we said we did give.
No, we've announced it.
No, but there's times that we did.
Not with Richie. Richie told us we can give them a raise, but we don't have to tell them.
Yeah, we don't have to tell them. We'll just say, yeah, we did give
Richie said
raises.
that.
No, but he told him in the cafeteria in front of all of us.
No, but there's times that he didn't always.
Well,
he just said we don't have to tell him the percentage
Yeah.
because when we went
And
into
that-
executive session, he gave the options of like we can do auxiliary more this much, and then everybody else this much.
And
Oh, on what we've done, like for them to catch them up.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay, yeah. I thought you meant okay,
so
yeah.
my only thing for y'all to consider on, and it's all of these categories, is that in this particular category, professional, I'm just looking at cost to, there are multiple people who are so far below minimum that if we don't make the specific adjustments for them, it's going to be
Put 'em further
exceptionally
behind.
difficult. And a couple of these positions are exceptionally difficult to fill, like our diagnosticians. And if we end up having to contract those out,
Oh, we're gonna
we
pay
will
a lot
pay
more.
Yeah.
way more than we will. And so, I would just impress upon you, like, I know that last year there was not an increase
Yeah.
for these for all of these categories. The only increase was really given to the teachers, and we're so far out of the market that at some point the board's going to have to make adjustments, and this is a time when we're eliminating
That's
the
because we
positions
saved
that we
this much
did.
money, that much
And
more.
it kind of goes back to that, just idea of like, if we're ripping the Band-Aid, let's make at least some sort of a fix now. And you can choose whichever pay categories you want to do. That's why we have them broken out. But you've got principals and assistant principals in charge of accountability and all of these things, all of the extracurricular and activities. You've got your diags that have a huge caseload. You've got so many people lumped into this professional category. It's really hard to say they shouldn't get adjusted somewhat closer to market at some point.
If you had the choice, which one would you pick?
If I were sitting in your shoes today, my recommendation would be to go as close to the 95% as possible.
It's on the blue section.
Yes, and the rationale for that is this is already 2 years old.
Yeah.
So this doesn't account for the last 2 years of increases, right? And so what has happened is because we were overstaffed, we weren't able to give raises over the last few years. We're cleaning that up, and there'll still be some more that'll probably have to happen this next year, but not nearly like we did this year. But because personnel is our number one cost, it's the one thing but it's also the one thing that we have to have, right, to run our district, and we don't want to be losing our good people to other districts. And so if we don't make the adjustment, and I'm just going to impress upon y'all to consider that, if we don't make that adjustment, and we ask why are people leaving, well, when they can go and work less hours, less stress, in another district or at the region center, and they're not having to drive, if they don't live here locally, that's hard. That's a hard sell for
Well,
us.
take Ashley, our South Elementary principal, for example. She didn't want to be in the she was being honest. She said, if I go into an instructional coach, I will make more and have to work less than be in the principal. Which should say something, because in my opinion, it should be opposite. Yeah. It should be as a principal, you're making more. So I understand what you're saying of we got to give something because you've seen how many people are gone.
Well, and keep in mind also, we did save $671,000 on payroll. Even if we went to the 92%,
that's not going to even cut what we've saved. Right.
That's just for this year, though. That doesn't include what we're saving next year total for all, which is we.
Understand that if we go to the 95, we're adding 502,000. We saved 671. If you go to the 92%, it's 294,000. I just don't know if that would be a safer. We're still getting there.
Well, this one, the cost for specific adjustments takes into consideration some people were not even in the right pay grade. Mm-hmm. And so we have to shift them to the right pay grade. And then there are those really hard to fill positions that we feel like need to be at midpoint. So there were those positions that we put at midpoint. That's why you'll see that discrepancy between those two.
And we don't have the 4-day anymore. Because that was a recruiting tool.
Yeah.
Well,
we're not completely away. But what I'm saying is, when they look at it, they're looking every Friday, and so we're not doing that anymore. So I mean,
But
we
have
would
10
have
more
to.
days off than most districts.
Right, we have 10 more days off, but what my point behind it is, well, at least we got to be in competition with pay.
If not with days.
If
with
not
pay.
with days, with pay. If you're going to be here, at
Well,
least be worth
like I
it.
said, we did save 671. We y'all want to go 502 and go 502.
But I mean, we still have I think mainly the stipends is what we need to discuss. But I do know we're going to do something.
Yeah, but she's saying some of that's going to roll
Yeah.
here. That's why we kind of got to
want to-
decide.
yeah.
We can't really wait.
Because it would.
It's
Yeah.
going to
They
some
sort
of
of
the
align,
stipends are going to roll into salary.
And keep in mind, these numbers too
So
don't
you have to
reflect what
approve
we're
it.
getting from the state for House Bill 2 for the
Yeah.
offset. I think it's about $65,000 too. So it's
going to
really
even help more.
that less than minus that amount.
Oh gosh. Okay, is this something that we want to make a decision on tonight?
We're missing one, so I don't know if you.
Do we have
No,
a
it's just-
quorum?
Oh
Yeah, we have a quorum,
Yeah.
but that was his choice to leave, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I don't either.
And this
So,
is
I mean, I know that
so we
was
could do
Kevin's
this.
actual
No.
worry.
That-
was,
that would be
will these
a-
actual
a-
numbers.
He doesn't know where exactly where we
Uh,
end.
what-
He's saying, why
But
are we
just keep in
gonna?
mind that's 92%.
Why are we gonna make a
market with some
decision on
specific
something
adjustments
when
going
we don't
into
know
those
where we're
fundings.
ending? This is a
But again,
guess. So
two
he's
years
saying wait
lagging
till
data,
July to
so-
see where
Yeah.
we end, and
So like next year,
I
when we do
mean,
the
I
full
hold to what he's
analysis-
saying on that
Well, I'm
end.
just hoping
I mean,
next year
But then
we'll
what
save
about
more.
Melissa too? that
Like we
these
saved
people
this
are
6 something, so I'm
thinking,
hoping
you know,
we'll
by
save
July
more,
1st.
and then we could
They
bump
could
it up
easily
some more.
leave too,
I don't
just because you know what, we don't know
anticipate
what's.
that happening. This is where we're
gonna
going to see it
happen.
for the following school year. We'll have to potentially, it'll be a handful of positions.
yeah, they could
Because
believe. They
this
could
was a
leave.
hiring freeze.
Gotcha.
They could. I mean, if you tell these certain
But
people,
this-
they
we
could,
read
like
it
you said,
today,
they could
we
leave
were
because they're getting cut by
We
$5,000.
were like, we didn't feel confident. Yeah, that's why we're like, pause.
I don't know. I don't know what to do. I think. I mean, where y'all at? I see where we need to make the decision, but I also see what Kevin is saying as far as waiting to see where we're at. But Scott says he's pretty confident it's going to be at the 1.5. So I'm assuming that's probably what they're going to tell us in July.
I mean, and the problem is we can't load the salaries in to run what it's going to actually cost us overall until they're actually approved. So we're running like our own models to give you a ballpark of where it is with a couple of those positions still coming in at midpoint. So, but when we took the numbers today for those positions, what we did is we took the 25-26 budgeted amount off of the general maintenance and operations budget, and then we took what that cost was going to be, and it was over 1.5.
So what does that
The
mean
differential
to
between
the employees who are just not even close to where they needed to be making?
We got all of
That's
those
kinda what
adjustments.
this
That's
is.
what that column represents.
They're gonna
So
bump
that's
them up.
already adjusting where they
That's
need to
already
be.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
this column's
okay,
adjusting
sorry.
them to get
It's
them
late.
there. Now,
So are they going to get adjusted to where they need to be and then get a raise also, or is it just?
No, it's going to get this one adjustment.
Okay.
So everybody will be hard coded with an adjustment, and so and just so you know, there are a handful of people in the professional category. I'll tell you how many are only going to have a 2% increase because there were a
They've
couple.
already, yeah.
So if you did, let's see, that'd be
So it doesn't really
one,
apply to everybody. It's
two,
just depending where they're at.
like maybe 7 or 8. In the clerical professional, you are looking at not very many. Let's see.
So really,
Maybe
like those numbers where it
13
says
of
employees,
the
it just
65
tells you how many employees
would
are in
only
that
be at a 2%.
department. Doesn't mean it's gonna.
But everybody
True
else
number
it's getting them closer to where they need to be in their salary range. And then on the auxiliary, we have
I think that department is the one that's more off, especially our like custodians and our bus drivers, and
yeah.
that's
All 50, I'm probably.
no. I'm saying that one is where they're more.
I know, and there's
The whole
50
the whole
employees there,
department
that's what I'm
is.
saying.
I mean, even if you look at that cost to 92%, that's, if we're scared to go this far, this is a kind of a happy medium. I guess it's still not close enough.
Are we scared to go that far?
I
Because how
say-
much
I say we-
damage is that going to make?
I say we move to the 95. Let's get it over
95.
with.
I'm
Just
with the
bite the
95
bullet.
because look
Bite
at
the
what
bullet.
we're saving.
Well, that's going to
7%.
include all your adjustments
Yeah.
and get them.
I make a motion we move to 95. But that's bite the bullet. We'll see where
Second.
we end up.
Yeah.
My third.
Oh, okay. Are we okay? Wait. Okay, but what about
The
some of the?
stipends.
Do we have? Okay.
Are we clear on
Oh, wait.
stipends?
But no, we're not, because there's like you still have these couple of red. Okay, so wait,
So
we'll
the
go
band
to.
director was getting 15,000.
Well, what?
That doesn't.
And
Which
you're
is-
and you're looking to get rid of that or just adjust it?
Adjust.
Okay, so I did a little bit of research. I usually reach out to Seminole, Brownfield, sometimes Denver City. I didn't, in this case, I just reached out to Brownfield just to say, hey, what are you guys paying your band director? And he reported back they have 211. They are on 211-day contracts plus $10,000 stipend for their high school band director, $8,000 for their middle school director, and then $3,000 for their assistants. That's how they do it. Our band director is on a 226. We can't change contract at this point because she's already already been offered. The only adjustments we can make is to stipend amounts, but when you're on a full annual contract and you're getting a large stipend, that's kind of counterintuitive.
So what do you want to do to her, to the band
So
director?
my recommendation on that would be you guys have a range if you want to keep it in line with what is in our competition. You can keep it at the 15 or you can lower it to the 10 or anywhere in between.
I say
I would say
10.
10.
I say 10 and 5. What do you think?
Oh, I was like, did I take it
No,
from you?
I have it. It's on the other
Okay.
side.
So what did we decide on that one there?
And then the assistants,
On the math.
you wanted to make those.
We haven't.
We have it.
So we took hers down by 5. He said 5.
And then did you want to keep those at the same level as competing districts, or did you want to move it
Why?
down?
The what?
They get a
Okay,
6.
Sorry, what did
they
you
said
say?
10 on the
Mr. Knight did
band.
it before he left.
10 on the director,
And what was
and
the
then
director?
And 5.
assistant band directors. We have
Gave them that much
separate-
money.
we have
Went and
3 of
Gave
those.
everybody something that you wanted to.
Oh,
But kind of what we
really?
came back
Yeah.
from is
So that'd be another 15,000
Can't
if we
just
went down to
take-
5.
with everything they're going through, you can't just mess with somebody's livelihood like that. So
Is
it's.
5 going to put us
But
below?
when are you going to be
Is
fair?
that'll put us below the competing
And-
Well,
districts?
they're on. It will. Their assistant middle school gets 8, and then their assistants. But mine are all classified, and I honestly can't tell you the difference between the
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 third.
rest of them.
Yeah.
I'm kind of with you, 5.
So I mean,
Yeah.
I would say fine.
Because if you're going to take 5 from her, it doesn't make, I don't
Yeah,
know.
true.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense to only take 2 from them.
The only difference there is she's on a 226. They're on a 211.
So
Oh,
226 is that they work all year long?
Because they're less, and the difference between hers
But
and
do they-
theirs would only be 2,000 then if we did 8.
So
Sorta.
Kind of, sort of.
Sorta.
that's what the intent is
Gotcha.
on a 226.
10 and 5.
10 and 5.
10
I would
and
say
5.
10
and
and
5,
5.
yeah.
Because they even work less, a lot less.
And then, are you guys good with the life skills teacher making a $6,000 stipend, and the life skills and/or behavior TAs making a $4,000 stipend?
What are they at now?
They're all at just $3,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it's a hard
Did you
spot.
say these
Those
hard
are
to get?
exceptionally
Yeah.
hard to
Yeah.
fill
Hard to
positions.
find, hard to fill.
Okay.
And
And then,
and they have to have a certain set of
Yeah.
just patience and,
Is the
and
TA
they do a great
certified?
job.
Or?
No, they're uncertified. They get paid on the clerical pay range, but then they would get a $4,000 stipend on top of that. So that if a para or a TA wants to get that extra stipend, they can go in and serve in that classroom, but some people don't want to serve in that capacity, so if they come out, they would then lose that stipend, and that's why you don't tie it to the salary. You get the stipend for the hard-to-fill positions.
That's a hard job.
That is.
It's a very difficult job, and we're really struggling right now to find a teacher, so we're shifting how we're doing things for this next year because we have not been able to find a replacement teacher. It's just an exceptionally hard position to fill.
Okay.
So that would be my recommendation, to keep life skills at the 6 that's presented, and the life skills or behavior TA at 4,000.
And then we said the secondary non-tested, we're doing away with
I
that.
would eliminate the secondary social studies non-tested. And then on the English non-tested, I don't have my packet with me. These are the critical needs that the district has established as critical needs. But I would say if they're building on a tested subject at secondary, then it's a difficult position to fill.
That's on the English non-tested?
Dr. Avey, I need to go back to the life skills teacher. So, you just took away 5 from the band. I mean, do we have a life skills teacher right now?
We have a couple of life skills teachers, yes, or I think 3 total. I can tell you how many life skills teachers. But we have a vacancy that we have been unable to fill.
Life skills.
Mm-hmm. Because it requires a special education certification, and then it comes with a lot of other challenges. It's just
and the 6,000, 4,000, you got that from where?
Well, we were currently at 3,000 for the teacher and TA. They were just getting 3,000, and it just wasn't enough. And so we wanted to increase that to 6,000 for the teacher and 4,000 for the TA.
Because I'm looking at the assistant band director, we went down to 5, and then we took the 5 from the band director. What if we increased your life skills to 8,000, and then your life skills for your...
Where are you increasing, like the teacher 3,000, and then the TA
I know, but
1,000?
she's saying it's hard to get these. So I know I'm just saying, I think if we kind of increase that a little bit more, then that just gives
more of an incentive to come and stay.
And it does, but at this late in the year, I'll just tell you, it'd be really difficult to find a teacher anyways.
And we are going to do this too.
And so we are going to be doing...
Yeah, we're going to do that too. So they're still going to get...
So the teacher in that capacity is going to get 3,000 plus the teacher increase of 2%. And so it's going to be a decent increase there, I think. And then when we do the stipend analysis, then we can really look at that and say, okay, do we need to make it more? You want to be real careful about making everything a stipend. That's what kind of got us in this mess. But on those critical needs areas, and I would bargain to say that the critical areas that we have listed as a district are probably not going to come out as critical needs for this stipend study. So you could leave those other ones as they are and wait till the stipend analysis is back, or you guys can make a decision on those two. Just because you do have so many different people at different levels, and I'm like, and so I think they're.
I think we're good at 6.4 for now.
Yeah.
Yeah, what? On the life skills.
Okay.
Stipend.
And on that secondary non-tested English, were you thinking about keeping that at 5,000 or?
I have that blue.
So that means you raised it?
No,
No.
that
It's
one.
new,
Oh, it's new. Okay.
right?
No, it's
No.
not new.
I just thought if it's in blue.
I
it's
think we
busy.
have
Why not?
one person receiving that. I think. You have a second? I can go run to my office. Oh, actually, I have it. I was like, I don't have it. I have it right here.
But if it's non-tested, we can go down to 2,500 if it's non-tested.
Yeah.
Non-tested. Well, then,
'Cause we took-
but then again, the other ones are doing away with it, like the social studies secondary non-tested.
Do you recommend keeping that for the English secondary non-tested?
I've got. I don't know why I didn't write a note on
But it's in blue.
I know that's what I'm wondering.
Will somebody please follow me home or call my wife because she's gonna beat me up when I get home?
You might not even get in the house.
Anybody have an extra room?
I got all the floor, couch.
I'm leaving tomorrow. You can stay at my house. You're good for the next few days.
¿Dónde
To Round Rock.
It is.
You can hang out with my dad in the living room.
No, I can.
And go outside and go
He's probably
first.
still up.
Honestly, I don't. Oh, it's dual credit.
Oh no, we can't mess with that one. No, we can't mess with that one. Okay, yeah.
Let it be. Let it be.
Yeah, let that one be.
Okay. So then we just have the math secondary.
And then we have, and then the science secondary non-tested. We have two different amounts in there, and so if you guys want to keep them consistent with math, I would say my recommendation would put them at 2,000.
At 2,000. That's what I've got.
Okay, so if we're reading down the list, just so I'm clear, I want to make sure so that when we do this and you guys make a motion, you make it correctly. When you whoever makes the motion, you're going to adopt the stipend list as presented with the following specifics: secondary science non-tested at a $2,000 stipend, English secondary non-tested at $5,000. Math secondary non-tested at $2,000, and eliminate the social studies secondary non-tested. Reduce or put the band director at $10,000 stipend, assistant band directors at $5,000 stipend. And do you guys want to leave the critical needs tested as they are currently, or you? I was told that some people were grandfathered in.
I don't know what that means.
I don't either. I
They've
mean,
been here a long time, maybe.
Well, I know that,
they
but
say
I'm
grandfathered in, they get the 6,000.
Well, if they were at 8 or at 10, that they were grandfathered in at those amounts.
crazy. That is crazy.
But I can't speak to that, so I don't. That's all I was
And,
told.
and
What's
if
your
we're
recommendation?
saying grandfathered is like, okay, how many years is that? What are you putting as far as grandfathered? The years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not.
Well, it doesn't make sense once again that they're different. Like if we're
Yeah.
in it, they're all of them have at least 6. I'd say put them all at 6. And sorry.
Like, what's that agricultural science?
That's for our ag teacher.
How many kids does he have right
5.
now?
3.
That's $9,000.
There's not
Yeah.
very many.
So, I mean, is he showing? Are we going to show something?
This
Or?
is for all the non-show competition, non-animal competitions,
Non-animal.
which are the
because they show some of them show through Dawson or some show through some.
but it's like all the I think they're called ILD competitions and all of those that they go to on the weekends, and it's the more the speaking competitions. And
Gotcha,
things.
gotcha.
Yeah.
So,
And that's actually a little bit, I think, lower than most.
Mhm.
so keep it.
I think
Leave
we
it low.
lowered that one already.
Okay.
Well, I think, yeah.
We did
Get
because
that
it used to be
lowered.
like 15.
Talking about ag, are we ever going to build that sucker back up? Or, because I know, I think Klondike is not doing it no more, and they're thinking about coming this way.
I think that if we had an ag teacher that presented to kids, I just got a call about that yesterday actually, that they're like, there's grants out there. Because I go, what happens is you don't have the families that are interested in it, or some can't afford that. And where are you going to place the animal? Where are you going to go feed them? And there's so much. And we don't have a lot like we used to. We have a lot of interest in welding. But that doesn't mean that, like, with a good push and educate on what that means and how much, like, I think when that parent was like, my kid got $7,000 back from a third place out of 3.
The biggest
You
issue,
know.
I think, is what we've seen is the decline is, especially in communities like with our demographic, is that our kids have to pay up front for their animals, and they don't have that money to pay up front, even though they typically will get it back at the county shows and or other competitions. It's that upfront cost and the maintenance of the animals. Like
But are they
building
grants that they can apply for? Not for you, but them?
I am not aware of any for those, but I'm.
But you got to be out of pocket before you can.
Okay.
I was an FFA. And,
Okay.
I'm not aware of any.
I don't
And
know. That's what I was told yesterday.
Yeah.
And they're really, really deep in ag. What's going on is that parent is thinking of bringing their kid.
Yeah.
But the
Back
problem
to
is they're big in ag.
Yeah.
They're big in showing. So that's what they're like, what do we have?
And they're talking about bringing other families in as well. So
Well,
That Dawson, that other,
That Dawson.
we can do what we can do.
yeah,
Well, I
exactly.
said just like with anything
Yeah.
I mean, you just got to build it. I mean, if there's kids that show interest, well then.
I mean, if we have 2 or 3 kids, that's awesome.
It used to be huge here.
Yeah, I know it
You
did.
know, it used to be.
So how do we start that conversation? You know, how do they come in and start the ball rolling? What do we need to do? What do they need to do?
Ag teacher.
That is our ag teacher, and I'd have to have a conversation with him to see.
Would you please?
But we had, I will tell you, the ag teachers are
Yeah, we
typically
do. Go
on
Who?
annual or somewhat kind of like annual contracts because they have to take care of animals over the summer.
Gotcha,
and
gotcha.
things. So it might not be
It's not
something we
thrown
can
into
start
it.
this coming school year, but we can
Understood.
start prepping and getting the footwork. But I can talk to him and see.
Please, if you don't mind,
So
let us know what he says, please.
good luck with that. All right.
Okay, secondary testing, or what did we decide on those here? 6 across the board? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I do have one question for you, and I asked you this a while back, like way a while back, and you said it wasn't time. There was an employee I asked you about, they're in pay grade 1, and they were needing to probably be moved.
So I can't.
What?
I've looked at pay grades, and yes, that's a. So we are moving a handful of employees. So for example, I'm going to tell you on our professional pay grade, our director of operations will change a pay grade from 1 up to a pay grade, and then CFO needs to go in pay grade. Up
what does
a
that
pay
mean?
grade,
They're gonna move much.
and then
Like
also
we had talked about, like if they tap out, if they're
Yeah.
at a certain pay grade, they'll tap out and won't be able to go up anymore.
well, yeah, but they're also in the wrong pay grade.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so we made, when it says specific adjustments, it's adjusting to put those particular.
So how does that reflect them?
That's on that, that's in those
They
specific
adjust.
adjustments right
It's
there.
already put in there.
Oh, okay, so you already have an idea of where it needs to
Oh,
be.
yeah,
and you
I've already,
pay.
I mean, I have like a bajillion tabs with, we went through every single employee.
When will we
and
know
then-
that? I mean, do we
When
need?
it
Don't
gets-
we need to know that? Everybody exactly where they're going to end up being.
Oh, I mean, I have that. We can
Okay.
load it and give it to you after we're done running it, so you guys have it on like a spreadsheet.
Okay.
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 But
And are you
that
letting
one,
the employees know,
so
or how would you?
Yeah, usually
Okay.
when we
That's
when we
federally.
approve it, then they'll start having
let's
these
see,
conversations. But that's the
so
hard part.
our
Yes.
community
But that's the hard
relations director
We wanted to wait,
basically
But then
goes up a pay grade.
the stipends
to-
make a difference. So if you're going to go tell
Okay.
somebody
That's
you're
good,
about
that's
to
good.
lose
Yeah,
$10,000,
we're a director
but
position.
then we're about to,
and
you might be able to
they're
make
on
up
pay
for a
grade.
certain amount
So
through pay.
that's
I don't.
another one, and then I will tell you
She
as
said
far
that
as
makes a
speech paths,
difference.
Speech paths, we're gonna go to men. This is
Yeah, we ain't never done this one. This one is
Each
a.
one has a specific.
And
that's
do you remember
an
me asking you about that
yeah,
one?
increase pay grade as well.
Lucky you.
Is that increased salary?
You started
Okay.
going to work and driving.
You want to come help me cook?
Almost.
What are you cooking?
Bake. You want me bake?
Well,
There's
actually,
Leches
that's
cakes.
that's with that. So
Is
I
that
don't have
graduation?
this one right here. The exact,
Just
but it's going to
talk
be close
birthdays.
to like I think 7. It's going to be the. I've got to do the now. I've got to add another column in here and do some calculations. But yeah,
For what? Do what?
I was asking
the director of operations position and needs to move to a different pay grade.
Okay.
And so that would be, but what we're doing is rolling in that facility stipend into that. And so at 95%, we have to do the specific calculation, but it takes it to, I don't know the exact amount, but it's substantial.
Okay.
And then CFO, that would go to a pay grade 9, and so that pay grade range.
We don't have them.
Yeah, I know. But so when we post it,
We're getting simpled out at this point.
yeah, but it goes into a different pay category, so that range will be posted in that category. And then diagnosticians, that's also another very difficult one to fill. That's going to be around it's going to be around about an 8. I have to get the specific adjustments because I didn't do the calculation with those specific adjustments added on it for that too. So
Okay. So is this what we're doing?
We got all of them right.
Are we like
Absolutely.
we're good?
I'm
Got
good.
the bullet?
10 toes down?
Oh, and are you gonna make the motion?
first
Make the motion.
and then this. These, sorry.
Because you're gonna have to say each one.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to say as presented, excluding.
Did somebody write it down? Because Ernest is looking like,
He's like,
All
what?
right, let's do this one first.
Okay, let's do, okay.
Okay, so I'll go to, let's go, we're at,
Ernest made the motion on the compensation plan to the 95% from market.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
Okay, then that's that piece. And then basically the stipends,
Are we approving the
as presented.
coaches thing?
We're doing this
Yes.
one.
Yeah, it's like
the
all,
coaches one is going to be without that bottom.
Yeah.
It'll be for football, team sports, individual / co-ed sports, and middle school. But
Okay.
to exclude this.
I got you.
Do we-
Okay. Do y'all want me to do it? Since
Go
I
ahead.
got
yep.
I would like to make a motion to approve the 2026-2027 athletic extra duty stipends with the exclusion of the football head coach and anything in the other category. We're going to exclude that. So it would include team sports, individual co-ed sports, and middle school.
We do them separate or?
You can do them separate or together.
Okay.
Do them
And in
together.
addition to that, we also would I'd like to move to approve the Lamisa ISD 2026-27 stipend list with the changes of, science, secondary non-tested, it will be 2,000. English, secondary non-tested is 5,000. Math, secondary is 2,000. Social studies, secondary non-tested, we will be eliminating that. Band director stipend will be 10,000. Assistant band director / sponsor will be 5,000. Oh, sorry. Life skills teacher 6,000. Life skills behavior TA 4,000. English secondary tested 6,000. Math secondary tested 6,000.
I think that's it.
And everything else as presented.
Second.
All in favor? All opposed, motion carries. Okay, deliberation and possible action to approve DC local. That is, really didn't 100% get into hire fire. now what that would look like is, do we want to keep it as is, or do we want, there's 3 different options. We can take it to like where we have 100%, which means that we do everybody in this district, every employee in this district is where we hire. Or you can do administration and directors like and above, and let her have all of the teachers. Or you can have full, but in like say when it comes down to summertime, there's the times where they snatch up the teachers. There's like a certain amount of days where she has a full authority to hire without board approval. Also, what we would like to, you could keep in mind that if we had it fully 100%, that means that every time we hire a teacher or a TA or anybody, we would have to get majority. Yeah. Holly recommended that we don't take it fully. Holly recommended maybe like administrators. We hire administrators and keep her being able to hire teachers.
But then if we do that, then we have to read all the contracts and do all the background checks on them.
Well, we would do it I think we would do it together.
Okay.
That's what Holly was.
My understanding is the hiring authority, that we still do all of that background work. You just have to approve the recommendation. And so you can do all the way up to a certain level, and that's what Tasby said. It just depends on what the board wants to do. The only concern would be whether it's principal, assistant principal, whatever, like in this particular time contract, like you get down to crunch time and they have to give notice to their district. And so you have to be very careful with not losing quality candidates, whether it's a teacher or anybody else that's a certified position, because then you do have to have a board meeting called. You do have to have a quorum to be able to hire them. And so that takes...
But you could also give her like certain times in the summer where she has full.
Right. So you could say from April or May to September or to August or whatever, you could set a time frame. Or you can do that in my previous district, they gave me the authority to do that during the school year. We just did an action item during that time to give me authority if the board wants authority on all positions. So it just really depends on what the board wants. I want to not lose quality candidates ever. So it's just really up to you what you guys...
And what about in letting go employees? Then that would be...
No. Well, it would be recommendations again. She would bring the recommendation back to us. I mean, it's crazy because we approve contracts anyway, every year. Mm-hmm. We just don't really get... I could look at it both ways. I look at it as a way of... It'll make us communicate as far as trust on both ends. Her trusting us trusting her. And it'll keep us in the loop a little more of what we're asking for because we have this. And it's not blurring lines of what's our role and what's not. In this particular, and it doesn't have to be this way every year. You can change it at any point. Mm-hmm. But I think what Dr. Avey had even mentioned, like she doesn't want to get in conflict with the board. So we're trying to figure out a happy medium to where we're all always on the same page and we're having to communicate without undoing anything that she's done, and we hear about it and we go back and we're having conversations. So what do y'all feel as far as partial, keep it the same, or
what are you doing now?
have full authority?
She has full authority.
Oh.
What was it?
Just full authority.
She has full authority.
Okay.
Yeah. And so this is that DC local is what we'll do now is that if like administrators or anything like that, like we will be involved in the process. She will still be involved as well. It's just we're involved with her in making those decisions.
Well, I'm just one, so I would say just give her the full authority, just as long as she comes back to us. And I'm talking about administrators with big pay. I don't care about your teachers and stuff, but administrators with big pay, we need to know what you're offering, and how you're doing it.
Just so
That's
we'll know what it costs to bring you
Yeah.
here, I mean, I'm with Ernest too.
So,
I'm
like for the individual, instead of having the pay range there, you want to know like each
more or
time-
less what it is that it took them for them to accept to come here, because
Well,
we have to give them a dollar amount.
But we've set them all right.
Yeah, we have pay ranges set.
Okay, well, I mean, but either
So,
way,
we have pay ranges set. So that's what I'm saying is.
Okay, well,
I mean, the question again is the 40 people that you let go. Did you bring it to the just as a team? Just hey, these are the people that I let go, or you just make the decision and then bring it to the board's attention?
The board's been in the loop with as far as all the
We didn't
teacher
get all
positions
40.
and above.
well, we didn't get the
We didn't get all
just
40.
knew this
Yeah.
is things that were going to have
Yeah.
to take place. Yeah,
No.
we knew about that.
Okay, well,
No,
then,
we
again,
didn't get all 40.
I mean,
Like
no.
Ernest said,
No.
I mean, if that's
Not
the
the-
information, I would give you full authority.
I mean, I've got an 8-hour day job. I mean,
I mean, if she's
this is
bringing
what we
that
hired you
information
for.
to us
So
already,
we just want communicate. I want communication.
yeah.
And like I say, I'm just me, so I can't speak for you guys, but I say give her full authority.
I'm okay with authority. I'm okay with what everybody wants. But that's not what we've been showing. And it's not everybody, but that's not what everybody's been showing in this past few months. And so I'm like, I know what we're saying, but that's not what it looks like. I mean, take the basketball coach, for example. Take the AD, for example. We're asked, the process that we went with her is pretty much us having hire fire, because she doesn't have to keep us in the loop when she has hire fire. We want to know, but and so it comes back to the point to where we want to do this, but that's not what all of us are showing. So I mean, if you do a trial run of keep hire fire for a little bit with administrators, so we're knowing how she works, she's knowing how we work, and what we want to see for the movement, for what the direction in the district. We're seeing that, you know what, I was in the meeting with her and I saw how she handled that, and because of everything that we just discussed. Because I mean, I agree with what you're saying. I see your point.
But there was
But that's not
there
just-
was a lot of griping.
That's not just
Not
what.
me.
No, right.
No.
Not me.
And not right. And so
this
that's
is why we hire her. So.
right. No, I agree with you. But what we're saying is we're coming back to the same problem.
Gotcha.
And that's what I'm saying. Just we need to keep that in consideration, because I mean, how many administrators do we actually have to hire right now? How many times? 2.
Well, we have one that's accepted a job.
Right. And so, how often are we going to be here?
Mhm.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
not teachers, it's not TAs. But that's my opinion. It's just something to think about. You don't have to make a decision tonight either.
Can we just table it? Or well,
I mean, it won't make a
we
difference.
may be down to one.
Yeah.
Down to one.
I mean, it won't make a difference. I mean, if you want to make a decision on how everybody feels, I'm good with majority. But if you want to table it, we can, because it's not like she's waiting for us to make a decision so she can move on. This is just operations are still the same as tomorrow.
Whatever you decide. I've
Yeah.
said my
Yeah.
piece.
I've
So
already said mine too.
Okay.
Whatever else you decide.
Albert, Melissa.
I mean, we got 2 to hire left, so I'm kind of like, I would like to be like you told us earlier about that one, and I'm glad. I'm happy.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay.
I think it's just more like to be informed.
Okay.
Maybe.
Albert.
I mean, I just said it.
Okay.
I mean,
You're good.
If she's
Okay.
communicating with us regarding this, again, going back to the team, then I'm good.
Okay.
I would give her full. But again, it's just courtesy, I mean, the communication.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, let's go back to that. Me notifying my HR. I'm terminating these 2 because of whatever situation. Vice versa with us is communicating with us too that, hey, we're terminated.
Yeah,
You know,
and
it's
I
done.
think I Of dollars.
And I think that with hires, I think what we mean is like if you have the less candidates or you brought it down to 3 or 4. Maybe not tell us the day before, hey, we want to offer. Maybe like in the process of you thinking, hey, these are what we're thinking of, just to give us a little bit of background. And I think that's the kind of the communication that we're asking
and the
for.
only reason for that, because we know a lot of people and we know why they're not there or what happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it just helps to relay that information to you, because that might give you a better view of, okay, do we really want somebody like that here? Because you might have not known that information.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it just helps us all the way around to know. You might not know something that we know or we heard or,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay, so we're good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Table.
We'll say that. We'll say no action will be taken. So deliberation on the possible action to approve DC local. No further action was made. Deliberation and possible action to add, revise, or delete local policies is offered by TASB Policy Service to consideration in accordance with instruction sheet to TASB Localized Policy Manual Update 127. Need a motion. Make a motion.
I move to approve as presented.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Please motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. There is no further action.
Real quickly, I have 2 things. The Tex Ed Conference registration opens July 21st, October 8th through 11th in Houston. Will the whole board be attending that so I can make
When do you need
When
to
is
know?
it?
It opens July 21st, which takes me to the July board meeting. I think we'd originally talked about the July board meeting being
Let me see what games we have.
July 23rd.
No, what day is it at conference?
October 8th through the 11th.
Okay, we're there. We're there. We're all there.
All
I'm
there,
there.
'cause-
We're
and
all
I'm
there.
assuming booking flights.
Huh,
Yes, we're flying.
yes, we're flying.
Yeah,
Okay.
'cause
I'll
we ain't driving down
I'll
South
sit with
Far.
April. God help me.
Okay.
I'll sit with her.
And
I am so scared to fly.
I don't fly.
You don't fly.
You really don't.
I am so.
You know you fly.
You know what?
I'm so
You
scared.
get to sit with April.
I am so scared to fly, but
You did good last time.
I did not. But
and the July board meeting is supposed to be set for the 16th, but that is the week I will be on vacation. We had talked about moving it to the 23rd. Are you still good on the
I'm
23rd?
on vacation. Seriously, I won't be.
Are you?
Yeah, I'll be out. But
hold on.
it's just only one of me.
We try to make it because the summertime we don't always come to where we're
I'm out.
moving
This
it.
year
I'll be
we
gone
know
for 10
it's-
days.
Okay, where you going?
What's your 10-day window?
Well, July 23rd, we'll be back till.
Oh, you're leaving on
yeah,
the
July
23rd.
23rd.
gosh.
Okay. Okay. So
When
the
are you
30th.
coming back?
What
I'm
about
leaving
before?
the 11th through the 16th.
Then we'll just have it Monday the 20th or the 21st.
Yeah.
Or
What about Monday? Yeah, Monday the 20th.
That's fine.
I'm good Monday with the 20th. Monday the 20th.
So I'll post the agenda on July 9th.
Okay.
Okay, so Monday, is that good for everybody?
I'm good.
Monday,
I'm gonna
July,
look at my calendar first thing in the morning to make
Sorry.
sure. But yeah,
I know,
should
me
be.
too. I,
July 20th, is that right?
July
yes.
20th.
Okay, got it. I want to make sure I have that written down or I will forget. Okay. All right, that is all I have.
Did I see that? 127?
Why even-
Oh, this meeting is adjourned.
127. 127.
So this meeting is adjourned.
Oh, good.
I have to.
Guys, I need help.
No, you can't.